stages: swim, bike, run, run, bike, swim, and then swim, bike, run. And we're going to get underway right now. Into the water, and someone missed it. Look for Learmonth in the middle in the green. She's a fantastic swimmer.
She definitely didn't miss that start. She got a great start, as did Beth Potter there on screen. Looks to be starting very, very well. But Jess Learmonth first off the blocks in the green.
Yeah, she is a very strong swimmer. Led her heat swim out by 3 seconds, which over the course of 200 metres and in a pack swim is no mean effort. And she's looking here, I suppose, as we welcome Vicki Holland into commentary as well, for a little bit of revenge, because she won 3 of the championship races last year, only to be pipped at the post by Georgia Taylor-Brown and denied the championship title. And now she has the opportunity to take a title from the rest of this field, and I think that's enough motivation, don't you?
I think so. It would be her very, very first world title, obviously, and she's been knocking around on the circuit for a little while now, putting in some fantastic results, but hasn't yet taken one of those elusive world titles. And as we see her turn around the first buoy there, she's got Georgia Taylor-Brown on her feet and Sian Rainsley on her hip. Sian, also a fantastic swimmer who put out the fastest time in the heats.
Well, there's our 4 Brits already just heading straight to the front. Learmonth in the green. Sian Rainsley, who's swimming right in front of and making sure she gets the feet of Learmonth. She's swum over the top of Georgia Taylor-Brown to get there. So no love lost between those two. Her great mates. And then bringing up the rear there is Beth Potter. And all of them know they need to stay on the feet of this woman, who is a Olympic gold medalist for a reason, a superb swimmer, and sets up her races off a swim. Now, to remind everybody, it's 200 metres in the water here in Marina Bay in the reservoir. First athletes ever to swim in the reservoir, actually, Super League Triathlon, which is a big moment in Singapore's sporting history. Swim, bike, run, and then a short break. Run, bike, swim, and then in those 2 stages, any time lost to the leader will be paid for in stage 3, a pursuit start. And we've seen Jess Learmonth time and time again take these races by the scruff of the neck, put time into her opponents early, and from there she's really never headed. She knows how to go into the zone and stay there, and she's done the same thing as they make the right-hand turn back in towards the... It says LV up there, but I'm going to say VL.
Vincent Louis.
The Vincent Louis building. After his win here in Singapore, won the championship title a couple of years ago. That's the monument we've built to him, and Learmonth is going to be the first there.
But I tell you what, Bragmaier had a very, very poor start. She's come around off that first swim or the second swim boy to put herself up there, and Beth Potter tagged Georgia Taylor-Brown for that entire swim and set her up in a very, very good position as she comes into transition.
A 2:34 from Jess Learmonth. She swam a 2:35 yesterday. The fastest swim yesterday was Sian Rainsley with a 2:31. She's right behind. Bragmaier slips in third from Taylor-Brown. Now, it's about 150 to 180 metres in this transition, and there's several sets of steps as well, so we don't like to make things too easy. You've been up and down there a couple of times. What was it like, Vix?
It's not fun even to walk it, to be really honest, and those guys have got to run up it twice and also down. So when it comes to stage 2, they will be running down those steps as they head to the water to finish off that stage.
So right behind Learmonth is Rainsley, and then Bragmaier in the white, Potter behind her, and then Taylor-Brown, and there's a little bit of a gap back to the second 5, but the Brits certainly doing the job early on as they put their gear in the tub. We've already seen Alex Yee fall foul of the Arena Games Triathlon officials.
Great transition by Beth Potter. She realises the importance of transition. She's chasing the World Championship today. Cooling device around the neck, a lot of ice in that. Women really, really trying to keep the body cool. They struggled yesterday in that heat.
Yeah, Beth really didn't enjoy the heat yesterday. She's been saying sort of since she finished the race, actually, that she's been a bit worried, that she didn't feel good, she didn't feel like herself at all, and just really worrying about whether she could get herself back into the shape we've seen her in at every Arena Games that she's raced so far. So today, as Maka said, we've got her there with that ice round her neck just so that she can try anything really to keep her a little bit cooler.
And now we head into the wonderful world of Zwift. We are in Crit City. Of course, this is an esports world title for a reason. The bike and the run, both taking place in Crit City, which is part of Zwift's, or one of Zwift's many, many worlds. It's a fantastic device to use for training indoors, which I actually choose now all the time. I'm too scared of the cars, to be fair. But normally, I'm not where Jess Learmonth is in my Zwift races. She is right out the front and hitting 5 watts a kilo, as all of the Brits are out the front. 2.6 seconds to the good over Georgia Taylor-Brown with Beth Potter and Sian Rainsley. And Bragmaier's holding on to the rest of them. But Knoll, Daniels, De Koning, Meissner, there's 2 of our World Championship contenders who are 12.8 and 14 seconds in arrears.
In stage 1, so it's a long way to be back. The attacks came very, very early. Jess Learmonth got that gap on transition. You saw Beth Potter really move quickly through transition to put herself in a position to stay in this race. And now the Germans have been isolated, and they're a long way back.
It's interesting how, and I've just seen the swim splits come through. Learmonth swam a 2:32, Rainsley 2:34. Taylor Brown managed to make up the 4 seconds she lost in transition. But Knoll and Meissner were 6 seconds and 8 seconds back. And just, if you don't have a good transition off the back of a 6-second loss, you can already see how big the gaps are.
With a long transition like that, it makes a huge difference. We saw how much ground Beth made up by really rocketing her way through transition. And unfortunately for Lena Messner and Annabelle Knoll, they seemed to go the other way. They had a bit more time taken out of them during that T1.
So now nearly 10 seconds covers the top 5, and a further 5 seconds back to Daniels, Knoll, De Koning, Meissner and Hun de Vet, who overtakes Meissner or is in a battle with her as they head through the rollers, which is the back end of the Crit City course for the first time. They'll do 2 laps, each of them 2 kilometres. And this is a tricky little bit, actually, with some elevation changes. So as you can see, Learmonth is up, making sure she's pushing plenty of power through the pedals and see if she can put a little bit in. She actually picked up more or nearly a second from Taylor Brown just through that section, and Learmonth will turn back on to the start-finish straight right now. The Archer's just up ahead, and she'll begin her second lap. So any time that lost to, well, it seems now Jessica Learmonth, will be paid for in stage 3. So if it finished the way it stood, Learmonth would bank a 4-second gap over Taylor Brown. Of course, the gaps tend to get a little bit bigger as fatigue sets in stage 2. And with this kind of humidity, I bet you're very happy that you're not one of these Brits out there, Vicki.
I'm really quite happy in an air-conditioned commentary booth right now because it is stinking hot outside. Even today, a little bit cooler than it has been the last few days. Yesterday during the heats, blazing sunshine, really, really hot for all these girls. It is a bit cooler right now, but it's still so muggy out there, and it's going to be a war of attrition.
And Jess Learmonth just showing how good she is. In the heat, she did a 5:43 on the bike, which is 11 seconds faster than the next fastest bike time, which was set by both Taylor Brown and Potter. And we've seen how strong she is on the bike. I actually had a chat with her. I was having a chat with her and Georgia Taylor Brown whilst they were warming up yesterday. Georgia Taylor Brown was having a chat. She was doing 150 watts. Jess Learmonth was chatting to me like no big deal. Look down, 370 watts.
I mean, there's a reason I'm sat in this commentary booth now. And you know, I don't want to say that Jess Learmonth retired me, but it might have had a factor in it.
Potter's another one where she really laid it down in Munich and ran away from the field. We'd never seen such a dominant performance, and then Cassandra Beaugrand kind of did that to her in London. And I guess she's a confidence athlete in some ways, and at 7 seconds in arrears now, and she's obviously concerned about the heat with that around her neck. Maybe the confidence isn't 100% there for Beth Potter.
She struggled yesterday in the heat, and I think she took a bit of a wound from that, definitely, talking to her last night. She didn't feel comfortable in that humidity, but I think today she looks a lot better. She's definitely focused for this. She knows there's a World Championship up for grabs. She needs to stay as close to Georgia Taylor Brown as she possibly can. Jess Learmonth's the front runner. She's going to go hard on this bike and try and hang on that run. But Beth Potter with that run arsenal can get that treadmill up to speed, and she's the second fastest to ever run on one of these treadmills as a woman, so she's still well and truly in this race.
She could run that 8.8 down,
yeah, without question.
Definitely within 1 kilometre, and I don't know, I heard whispers about potentially a little niggle for Jess Learmonth. She's not showing any of it now, but when she did step down, and you missed it because you just arrived at the commentary box after your 400-yard dash down here, but she was limping a little bit, and that's what we're basing this off on the pontoon.
Yeah, a little bit of a hip niggle for Jess, but she's been cleared to race, and you know, when you get on the start line, it's amazing what adrenaline can do for you as a painkiller. You feel all this pain, you dive in, you forget it, and you're just interested in going hard and trying to win the race. And Jess is such an amazing competitor. But yeah, we're seeing Georgia even put the ice on her head right now as well. She was the one who actually asked for it yesterday. She put in a request, can we get some ice, please? It's really, really hot down there. But yeah, with
Poor
Beth, we are not ready for this.
Not at all, but off the bike goes Jess Learmonth. Big crowd down now here at Marina Bay Sands. We're, of course, capped on the crowd, but every spot that we could give has been taken. She did lose a lot of time in transition last time out in London, and that is not a clean transition either. You see how quickly that 8 seconds got swallowed up, and she needs to start well here.
That's a good transition.
Yes, it is.
That's how you do a transition, and she'll get this treadmill up to speed. She loves running on this curved treadmill. And she's well and truly. Georgia Taylor-Brown looks so effortless in every discipline of triathlon she does. She always. It's remarkable.
It's annoying.
Yeah.
It's annoying
How does
when
she
you try
keep
to
it on
race.
the inside? I'm
Yeah.
sure she's hurting.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
She doesn't do what we like to officially call a pain face. There's no pain face from Georgia. It's always calm and controlled. She's always absolutely...
A bit like yours.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
no.
I'm also known for that.
Not at all, but there's the stare. Georgia Taylor-Brown looking at the numbers as we head now into the world of Zwift, and we can see Learmont there. You can see the gap back to Potter, I think, yes, Potter 6.5 seconds, and then Taylor-Brown. So Potter's gone past Taylor-Brown quite quickly, and you can see the relative speeds there ticking up over 17 kilometres. So we'll see what that happens to that time as Rainsley starting to lose time now, and Bragmaier is coming up to contend. And based on that, and we know transition is the fourth discipline, so you can see there in the numbers exactly who did well and who didn't.
Yeah, without question. And the biggest casualties from that first swim bike are the Germans, Annabelle Knoll and Lena Messner. They're out of action. They're the two that were fighting against Beth Potter to win this event. They need to finish on the podium, and they're giving up a lot of time. But the Brits have been all over Jess Learmont from the front. And Beth Potter transitions and runs. She sees herself as well and truly still in this race. Georgia Taylor-Brown drifting back slowly. Not finding this run very comfortable.
It's never really been her forte, and we know how good she is. She's picked up multiple Olympic medals. It hasn't really been her forte in this. She's finished around 4th and 5th in every Arena Games that she's done so far, and an athlete of her calibre, it just shows that this kind of racing is suited to a specific type of athlete, and she might not be it, as Beth Potter still remains around 7 seconds adrift. So this is a great run from Jess Learmont.
Yeah, without question.
Yeah, we're also seeing Sian Rainsley has just overtaken Georgia. So Sian's having a great run. She's running the fastest pace out there at the moment. She's at around about 17 kilometres per hour, and she's just overtaken Georgia Taylor-Brown at 16 up to 17 kilometres an hour she's running at the moment, and 12 and a half seconds down on the lead.
I tell you what, Bragmaier is coming in on Georgia Taylor-Brown. Georgia's struggling in this heat. You're seeing that time slowly tick back for Bragmaier, who's challenging for 4th. She's at 17 seconds. She was at 19 when she started the run.
Even watching Beth Potter's face here on the screen, you can see that's not the Beth Potter that we've seen at other Arena Games, where she looks so in control, so focused and so determined, but completely in control of herself when she's on the treadmill. You're seeing those shoulders are quite high. There's a little grimace on her face. You can tell this is not her best day right now.
She's a human. It's unbelievable stuff. Look at Georgia Taylor-Brown's heart rate down there, 190 beats a minute. Now 191, now nearly 20 beats a minute off Jess. And Jess is, look at her putting in the hard yards. Look at that face on Jess Learmont at the top left of your screen, trying to hold off Beth Potter over the last 200 metres. And she's struggling. You can see the limp there.
Yeah,
That's not a normal gait, and she's put a hand down on her hip too, and she's hurting, and she's going to almost... Well, she thought about taking it off there.
That's hurt. Yeah,
she's hurting. Jess Learmont is seeing her lead evaporate, and she looks like she is done. She is out. That is huge in the context of this world title. She's trying to make it to the end. She can't. Wow, Beth Potter looks across, and she sees a world title in her headlights. Oh, no.
We did know that Jess, unfortunately, has been struggling with a little bit of a hip injury, a little niggle that she sort of battled with on and off since she did a 70.3 race in March. And unfortunately, she's just still struggling with that as it appears today.
All right, Beth Potter is going to win that stage from Rainsley, Bragmaier, Taylor-Brown and Annabelle Knoll. But the big news is Jess Learmont.
Georgia Taylor-Brown, 4th, Annabelle Knoll, 5th,
Well. Talking to the race official is Jess Learmont, and you know she's going to give it an opportunity. I think she knew that there was something there, and a hand on the shoulder from Georgia Taylor-Brown. That is sad news for fans of racing and sad news for Jess Learmont. Well. This is something that you do not want to see, and Vix, you know Jess very well. You know she would have given everything to be here, and she was carrying it in. That's such sad news.
I know. I feel like I've just sat here a bit mute watching her because it's just so sad to see. Unfortunately, she's been carrying this niggle on and off and just isn't ready to race.
And it came on very, very quickly,
Jess.
didn't it? Oh, there she is.
I'm absolutely devastated for you, Jess. Tell us what happened.
I've had a bad hip, so he just gave up on me literally, like with a few hundred metres to go, but I can't even put weight on it, so.
You didn't even have a few hundred metres to go.
Oh well, I can't do any more, sadly, but thanks, guys.
Huge support from the fans out there. Jess, you look like you're on fire. We are so sorry for you.
Yeah, thanks, yeah, I felt really good. I felt fine up until literally it just went straight away, so. Yeah, I'm disappointed because I felt good, so never mind. Good luck to the rest of them, and I'll sit and watch.
Okay, good luck, Jess.
Thank you.
Absolutely heartbreaking for Jess Learmonth, but for Beth Potter, well, off the back of a 3:18 run, she looks a strong favourite to continue. But let's not write off Sian Rainsley for this one as well. And everything changes off the back of that. So only 6.1 seconds is Rainsley off Potter. It's stage 2 and 3 where we're going to see whether Beth Potter feels her best at the moment. Bragmaier is nearly 10 seconds back from Georgia Taylor-Brown, who faded a little in the run. Noel had a great run. She's up at 11.6 seconds from Daniels. Barbara de Koning, Hannah de Vet, and Lena Meister has plenty of work to do if she is going to do anything in this one. It is all set for stage 2. Stage 1 and 2 is now paid for, with the leader off first and the field looking to chase them down in a final swim bike run for all the glory. First across the line wins the event. Stage 2 coming up here in Marina Bay Sands, and happily the rain has held off. We've seen a few squalls of rain come through, and they've been welcome too, to be fair, because it has been so hot here. And now we start with a reverse triathlon. So if Jess Learmonth had even made it through the run, she'd be greeted with another 1 kilometre run as we go run, bike, swim, and we're about to get underway. Here we go. So it's another kilometre. This is usually where Beth Potter really makes hay while the sun shines off back-to-back runs, Macca.
Yeah, she loves this format, this run start. She has a weaker swim, but I think getting into that open water swim in front will give her the advantage she needs. All the females, all the women have to swim past her. So I expect Beth to lay down some serious smack right now and get a gap, but she's not.
Well, let's see if Barbara de Koning can keep her pace up, with Rainsley tucked in second from Bragmaier, then Potter, Daniels, and Taylor Brown's already lost 3.5 seconds just over the course of the first 100 metres. But Barbara de Koning, well, she said, this is my time to shine.
Why not? I mean, you might not be in with a chance of winning the overall, but absolutely go for it and take your moment in the spotlight.
It's a great tactic. If you've got a run in the reverse order triathlon, you've got that big run, set it out, get the quick transition, jump onto that bike, and if your swim is weak, you have to force, in these open water swims, the athletes to swim past you. So I think it's a great tactic.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what we're seeing with Georgia Taylor-Brown as well is that she doesn't really seem to translate as well to the indoor format as she does for general outdoor triathlon. And just here on this treadmill now, she's already lost six seconds on this run. So, yeah, I think this is effectively writing Georgia a little bit out of the contest here today.
We thought it'd be a battle between 4, and I think it's more of a war of attrition here. We've lost Jess Learmonth. Taylor Brown's leaking time as well. 6th and 7th are the 2 Germans, who are 3.6 and 5.9 seconds back. But of course, that time, if they lose it, will be added to their stage 1 time. And Beth Potter is sitting pretty here. She doesn't need to worry too much about what Barbara de Koning is doing, or indeed Zenit Bragmaier as she drops behind Bragmaier. Maybe, well, is she struggling again? If you look at her gait, she doesn't look necessarily like the Beth Potter we know.
This isn't Beth at her best, but it is the case that maybe her best is still going to be good enough today, especially with the withdrawal of Jess Learmonth. It was looking like Jess was actually feeling really good, and she said so in her interview. She said she was actually feeling like she was really ready to push hard today, and she was showing us exactly that with a lead of around 6 seconds already on that first run. But now we're down to Beth, and it seems that Beth isn't at her sparkling best, but it's enough.
She's doing enough, as you said, and you get a little bit rattled when an athlete you've been looking at that you think you're going to go to battle with all day suddenly pulls up lame. So she's sitting there.
Surely not. Surely you go, woohoo!
Yeah, you do a little bit without question. But you're expecting a battle. We're chasing a world championship here. So Beth's probably looking around, okay, what do I need to do to win this? Suddenly, Georgia Taylor-Brown's at 9 seconds back. She was looking at all the Brits. They're the only 4 that didn't race the repechage today. So technically, they're the freshest. You've lost one of them. So all the athletes in screen now, except for Beth Potter, raced this morning.
Yeah, the danger athletes for Beth Potter are Sian Rainsley, but she needs other things to go her way. If she wins and Potter finishes second, Potter is still going to win the world title. Annabelle Knoll can win it with a win, and Lena Meister can too, but she's lacked another 10 seconds as well. So she's going to be, she's going to need a superhuman effort to dig herself out of that. But Barbara de Koning and Janet Bragmaier do not figure, I suppose, in the overall. Instead, it's Potter who is just sitting there and going, I need to measure my efforts.
Well, for someone who's really not enjoying the heat, that's the really most important thing, I think. She has to be able to measure herself through these 3 rounds as we see them run off the treadmills and onto the bike now for the second part of this second stage.
This is really foreign, isn't it, for triathletes to have to go in reverse order. So used to going swim, bike, run. I've done it 100,000 times in a row. And then Super League changes the order and tries to find the best athlete by doing things like this, reversing the order and making them think and making them use different energy systems in different orders.
The weirdest one from experience is actually when you dive into the water, having done the run first, bike leg, and then you get in the water to finish. It's such a strange feeling being heavy, having a bit of lactic acid in you when you already enter the water.
Which is this stage.
Which is this stage. Yes. We're about to see that happen.
Strange for you, pretty standard for me, if I'm being honest. Lactic acid immediately as Potter takes control, half a second ahead of Bragmaier. De Koning has dropped off after a killer run as they go on the 4-kilometre trek around Crit City, 2 laps. And it's Potter up in the saddle.
Annabelle Knoll's still in there. She didn't lose much in that opening stage, I think at 10 seconds. And now with Jess Learmonth out, and she's sitting only at 5 seconds back, she's looking at a World Championship medal here. She was one of the favourites coming in to win the overall title. She had to stay close in these opening 2 stages. She's doing just that.
She's playing it quite smart, really, and as we said, we're seeing other athletes sort of fall by the wayside as we look at the leaderboard there with Georgia Taylor-Brown in 6th, Sian Rainsley in 7th. They're sort of running themselves out of the race, whereas Annabelle Knoll is keeping herself in with a real shot.
We can see anything happen in these races, especially in stage 3, and a few of the athletes I was speaking to overnight, and they all said to me, I don't know how I can do a 3rd stage of this because the heats are only 2 stages, and I was seeing stars at the back end of stage 2. I don't know how I can turn myself on for another one as Bragmaier pushes nearly 300 watts to take the lead up the cobblestone section, which is the only real rise on Crit City from Beth Potter.
I think if
solid rise from her, solid little climb.
If you're Beth at this point, I think you almost have to play this quite smart and maybe let Bragmaier go, because Bragmaier is not the contender to Beth for the overall title. So for Beth to be the world champion, she maybe has to just say, okay, Janet, you can go. I'll let you get a couple of seconds here, but I know that overall I'm still going to take the win.
Well, she can get a little bit of a gap. If she knows Bragmaier is a much stronger swimmer, she tagged her in that opening stage. She swam alongside Bragmaier, who had a really, really poor start. It'd be nice to enter this swim with Bragmaier as the feet that you sit on. She can tow you all the way through this stage.
We've got Georgia on screen there, but she's actually rocketed up the rankings over just the last kilometre on the bike. She's now up to 4th. She's only 8 seconds down on Beth and Bragmaier, having been miles further down at the end of the run. So she's actually eking her way back up to the top of the leaderboard.
She went straight past Annabelle Knoll on that bike, and we know how well she swims.
We shouldn't write her off.
Yeah.
2.2 kilometres. There's the real-life Georgia Taylor-Brown, and in the other picture is the Zwift Georgia Taylor-Brown, both looking pretty much exactly the same, although I've got to say the Zwift one looks a little more comfortable. It's probably a nice temperature in Crit City at the moment as we move into the second lap in just a second. Lead athletes, Potter and Bragmaier, are about to go underneath the arch and start their second lap of the second stage, and there it is. And this is where the crunch really starts. Potter straight from Leeds to Singapore, and a few of these European athletes, I mean, they've come maybe on Wednesday, maybe Wednesday night, Thursday. You've got lots to contend with there in terms of the time difference, crossing how many time zones? You know,
Seven.
Seven
Lovely.
time zones to arrive here.
7 time zones and about 30 degrees, plus God knows how many % of humidity. So
Yeah, about 90% of the humidity as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a real shock to everyone's system, and in true British style, there's just been a lot of chatter about the weather. Pretty much every time you go outside, oh, it's this hot again. You know, everyone is definitely being quite shocked by what they're finding, and Beth is definitely putting up a much better performance today than she was able to do yesterday, but the lure of a world title is tempting, hey?
Just looking at the run splits from stage 2 run, which we started with, because the athletes are fresh, normally we'd see the fastest runs of the day being put down in that particular discipline, but the run splits for this one were around 10 seconds slower than the first run, which just shows that there is no chance to recover.
The heat is playing havoc, without question. As we move through the stages, the athletes are getting more and more fatigued, a lot slower, except for Georgia Taylor-Brown, who is moving up. She's looking better in this stage than she did in the opening stage. She's at 9 seconds. She has a big swim. She's still in this, Georgia Taylor-Brown. She's fighting all the way.
It really is about measuring your effort over a race like this with 3 full stages, as we said, a full extra stage and they had to contend with yesterday. And it's just so oppressive for them with this heat that just measuring their effort evenly across the 3 stages is probably going to bring out the best results.
We're looking at Bragmaier on screen now. She needs Beth Potter to finish 5th or lower and take the win to take the title, which isn't going to happen, you would think. Georgia Taylor-Brown needs Beth Potter to finish 3rd or lower, and neither Meissner or Knoll to finish 2nd. So it all comes down to what happens with Beth Potter. At the moment, she's leading. She's going to have a gap in, and she's going to have a free swim at the back end as she heads into the rollers for the last time. That means there's 500 metres to go in Crit City, and she'll be very happy to see the back end of this bike. And she's going to have to head down those steps on heavy legs and into the water. And the water temperature is 31 degrees.
It's warm.
It doesn't give you any break, even getting in the water. You get in the water, you think, oh, this might actually be a break from the heat, and it's not. And looking at this, I think Bragmaier was really trying to win this bike so she could get in the water ahead of Beth.
And that's been a good thing for Beth, because
Beth has stayed ahead.
But the transition's going to happen. If you're Beth Potter, you're looking down that list right now. You see Rainsley there. You see the 2 Germans are chasing you now for that world title. You see where Georgia Taylor-Brown is. And you realise with Bragmaier there, setting a tempo in the swim, you're going to keep Georgia Taylor-Brown at bay.
All right, they're off, the 2 of them. They're down the steps together, and got to pick up
She needs those feet.
Yes, she does. She knows that too. And Daniels, who's had a great ride, will join Georgia Taylor-Brown, and we'll see who negotiates this transition. We know how important they are. Time can be put in, but of course, if you're not fresh, if you're feeling horrible, as Potter has lost a little bit of time on that. So what we're asking athletes to do here is run downstairs whilst putting their cap and goggles on, which
like
is
a trick.
Through a shower, put your cap and goggles on, turn left, turn right, go down a bunch of sets of stairs, don't trip over like Hayden Wild did in Munich last year, and then jump into a bath. Have a hot bath for 200 metres and come out and we'll do it all again.
And win a world title.
Exactly. We're not going to make it easy.
Yeah,
not at all.
We're seeing Bragmaier go in, and she's got a good gap still on Beth Potter behind her.
Yeah, I don't think Potter's going to be able to swim up there. And there is Knoll, who has overtaken both Taylor-Brown and Eva Daniels in that transition.
Something's happened to Georgia Taylor-Brown. She had a very tardy transition. She didn't seem to be moving as quickly as she has, and Beth Potter's missed those feet.
The calibre of swimmer that Bragmaier is now, I don't think Beth will probably be able to get back to her. So this is looking like a stage win for Jeanette Bragmaier.
The advantage Beth has is sometimes it's nice if you've missed those feet, you know you've got a gap on 3rd and 4th behind, that you have a swimmer up front, you can just glance up, you see that kick, you see that splash, and you follow that lead, especially as a non-swimmer who's not used to leading swims, where Beth Potter is right now. She's used to having athletes around her. It does make it easier at times. Even though you're not going to get on the feet, you've got somebody to track, someone to follow.
Solid contender, Janet Bragmaier of Hungary. Usually she sets the fastest times in the swim. But she does lose time generally on the bike and run, although not in this case. But she has been a contender. She reached the final in both London and Munich. Usually kind of scrapes in a little bit. Annabelle Knoll's the same. She raced Munich and London. She was 3rd in Munich. However, it was a much more competitive field in London, and it took her to 9th overall, and there was quite the lineup there, as there is here in terms of the Brits that are on point. But as you know, Vicki, all too well, you can be you can be the 10th best athlete and still be the 6th best Brit.
Speaking from experience, at a race at the end of last year, yes, I finished 10th in the race and I was the 6th Brit. And we had another Brit in 12th as well, so 7 in the top 12. It's an incredibly tough team to make, but it also means that we push each other to the level where we pack out start lists and we really do, you know, we turn up to compete at every race.
Until someone just gives up and retires, hey?
Yeah, it's really hard to make the teams now, so I'm getting kind of old and I wasn't sure I could get fit enough again, and so it seems easier to sit here and talk about it.
Bragmaier's put a little bit of time into Potter. She's probably doubled her advantage in the water as she's going to head around the last sort of very slight right-hand turn on the third buoy, as the weather seems to be holding off a little bit. And it is so nice to be able to swim here in the Marina Bay Reservoir. As I said, no one's ever swum in here before. They make an exception for World Triathlon and Arena Games Triathlon.
Huge swim. Great swim by Bragmaier. She's tapped it. She's finished the swim. She's made up for a lot of the deficit she lost in stage 1. So forget about Beth Potter, who's had a fantastic swim and tagged her at about 6 or 7 seconds. What Bragmaier has done is eaten up a lot of that lost time, so she'll be looking at her stage 3 results in a much better position now to have a great overall day.
Well, she's got to have her best result as Taylor Brown touches, and she's 21 seconds adrift, as is Knoll, and Rainsley's lost 23 seconds to Bragmaier, and more importantly, she's lost 14 seconds to Beth Potter as they head up the steps very, very slowly. Look at the facials on Beth Potter. She's not having fun.
It's hard.
She's not having fun at all. Hands on hips. We can all relate to that. And they've got to head up the stairs, get their gear all sorted out, make sure it's all ready, and then they've got to head back down the stairs again and start the swim.
Yeah, it's back to the conventional auto triathlon. Beth Potter doing a little jog, as is Georgia Taylor Brown.
Yeah, Taylor Brown suddenly looks okay as we get set up for stage 3.
There's a lot of...
Okay, there are the two Brits heading through the shower, and nicely coordinated heading up the stairs. And I guess that's the experience of these two, knowing that they're going to need the time. If they're not going to be rushed, and you don't want to be rushed getting back down there again, miss the start because the start is at a set time, you need to get this done quickly.
And it's a good idea. You've just loaded a lot of lactate through your arms with the swim finish. Get a jog, move that lactate through the system. Even though you think, why would you be running right now? Move a lot of that lactate through and they're on.
All right, we're going to look back at the stage and what happened. And it was Bragmaier who actually took control of this one. It was Potter and Bragmaier on the bike together after what was a pretty good run there from Barbara de Koning. And we talked a lot about Georgia Taylor Brown. She didn't look comfortable. Bragmaier was into the water and managed to lose Beth Potter. Potter's chance to negate that swim disadvantage was lost in the first 10 metres or in transition, and Bragmaier with a 13.19, which is not a fast time for Super League Triathlon Arena Games, but regardless, it's fast for here. Was 9 seconds ahead of Beth Potter. Now we get started for stage 3, the money stage, and the splits as they stand is Potter and Bragmaier will start together.
Oh, wow.
Which changes things. You can see Annie Emerson there trying to get a word out of Beth Potter, but Beth Potter is far too interested in getting herself sorted. She's set up, and we'll go to Annie now.
It's a whole lot of good there in that last round. Just talk us through it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not over yet. This is where the wheels could fall off for everyone, so just keep my cool and keep going. I've still got about 12 minutes to go. So.
Tough day yesterday, wasn't it, in the heats, but you're looking a lot better today.
Yeah, I think just every day being on this time zone is helping. So, yeah, hopefully I'll be okay.
I can see you want to get to the ice. Off you go. Good luck for the last round.
Pause. What are we doing? That was only stage 1. They are gassed, and we're making them run again to start stage 2, a backwards triathlon ending in the water. Who will lose more time and who will make up time for the stage 3 pursuit start? Of course, that was the highlights of stage 2. We're actually in stage 3 right now, which means we go back to the swim, bike and run, and this is where everything is paid for. Potter and Bragmaier will start, and we have never seen this before in Arena Games Triathlon. They will start together by virtue of having exactly the same time across 2 stages. 20 seconds back Sian Rainsley, 23 seconds Taylor Brown, 23 seconds Annabelle Knoll. Those 3 need to work together if they are going to take any time out of those leading 2.
Well, interesting for Beth Potter. She's in the perfect position. She has a big start over Annabelle Knoll, who's chasing her for that possible World Championship win, which is going to be decided right now. But with Bragmaier in front of you, to start the swim with a strong swimmer to get on her feet straight away, she's going to hold that swim deficit that she could have lost to the others.
Little smile from the Hungarian, who is ready to swim again, and that's where she's in her element, isn't it? Swim back to back, and she looks ready to go.
She's doing it easy. She's loving it, having a great time out there. She did suffer in that second stage. We saw her cross that finish. She was kaput.
We'll head down now to Annie Emerson, who has found Vicki Holland.
Vicki, so much has happened there in such a short space of time. Firstly, a word on Jess. So disappointing for her.
Honestly, just heartbreaking. She was looking really good. She even said in an interview she actually was feeling really in it today. She felt like she was good. She was 6 seconds up to the good. She was going well. That hip injury just not enabled her to finish the race today.
She was so close at the end of the run, but I don't think she would have made it through the next couple of rounds.
No, she would have had to start the next round with the run again, and given where she's at with that injury status, it seems like she probably wouldn't have made it through.
Vicki, a word on Jeanette Bragmaier. That is an incredible performance. She snuck through there, and I don't think that we've given her a credit along the way that we should have done.
We've been a little bit blinded by certain athletes, and so far we're seeing a little bit of a shock here, and I think that was a fantastic performance from her, especially to really stay in it on the bike, put the hammer down through transition and get a gap on Beth, which meant that Beth couldn't get those feet in the open water. To take a stage victory here, fantastic.
Beth is looking good for the title, isn't she?
Beth's still got a gap. She's still looking good. You can tell she's a bit hot and bothered. She doesn't feel like she's got it sewn up yet, which is good. You don't want to ever be too confident. But I think with that gap and with that type of athlete she is, with that gap going in, she's going to be fine.
Well, I think it's still all to play for here, but Beth is looking very good, I think, Will and Macca.
There is the pain face of Jess Learmonth, who she knew, but she tried again, and then she knew, and she tried again still. And we saw her in the back of shot there when Annie was talking to Vicki, and she was on the bike and talking to Rhys Davey, who's the Leeds-based British triathlon coach. And now it's a plan of where to from here, because there are World Triathlon Series races coming up next weekend. We start in Yokohama. I'm not sure whether we're going to see Jess Learmonth at that one.
And we have Leeds, which is very close to home for Jess. You saw her that slow-mo. You literally saw it give in. Here it is here. Boom, gone. Ouch.
Yeah, she was limping even at the start. Gave it a good crack. Came all the way to Singapore to win a world title, and it just was not happening. And that is extremely sad news for Jess Learmonth, who's one of the characters of Arena Games Triathlon, Super League Triathlon, and indeed every swim, bike and run in which she goes, and she's been doing 70.3s and all sorts of racing, and she'll bounce back from this, no doubt. She's very mentally strong. She's had a really unique decade that includes obviously Olympic medals, but she hasn't been someone that's been married to triathlon from a young age. She's got plenty of perspective, and that'll no doubt hold her in good stead as she moves through whatever this situation is. As we get ready, well, the rest of the crew are down there discussing what do they do now? Back into the bath?
And they'd miss Jess Learmonth. She brings so much character and laughter and fun to the actual racing. I think she just brings this ease when they're on that start line. You see, especially Georgia Taylor Brown and her together are just fun. So I think she'll be dearly missed when the anxiety is rising on the start of stage 3. The jokes and the fun that Jess has.
Now, the question is, who wins a world title? We are around 12 minutes away from crowning our very first Triathlon Esports World Championship winner, and it has worked out perfectly for Beth Potter because she can tuck in on the feet of Janet Bragmaier, who was not figuring in the world title, and take herself away from Annabelle Knoll, and Georgia Taylor Brown, of course, who were the 2 contenders who could do the job. And here we go. Potter, Bragmaier, the Brit and the Hungarian into the water, and a long wait, 20 seconds if you don't mind, back to Sian Rainsley, who is ready to do her best to figure in, but there you go, Potter, just jump on the feet, drag herself away. Bragmaier, such an accomplished swimmer. 20 seconds is gone. Rainsley into the water. Then it's Knoll and Taylor Brown, and these three need to form a train that tries to at least not lose any more time to these two when they get onto the final bike. The reflection off the Vincent Lewis Tower. The old cap over the top of the goggles there for Eva Daniels into the water. Just enough time. We just give him enough time to cool down. Then we make him keep going.
Cool down? I mean, I'm not sure
Well,
there's been
I mean,
any cooling down
Get out
going
of the
on.
zone. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, you just give them enough time to start relaxing, and then just as they start to relax, then it's like, nope, it's go time again. But yeah, we're seeing Jeanette Bragmaier pick up exactly where she left off in the second stage there. Beth, in an ideal world, would be a little bit closer to those feet, because actually going in the water with Bragmaier was a really quite good scenario for her to try and just tuck straight in on those toes. And she is only about one stroke off them, so she will still be benefiting there. She'll still be getting draft, and that's exactly what she needs right now. I saw her briefly when I was down at race site there in between rounds, and she's definitely not feeling like she's got this sewn up yet. She's not overconfident, so she does want to stay close to Bragmaier.
Yeah, and the swims where she's nervous, I think she'll be very, very happy with the position she's in. It's definitely not over. It's very, very hot out there. And when you've got Georgia Taylor-Brown in pursuit with Sian Rainsley and Annabelle Knoll, anything can still happen.
Well, Bragmaier knows that she's controlling her own destiny here. Obviously, there's big points on offer in terms of Olympic qualifications, etc. Here. There's World Cup level points, which brings it in line with the rest of World Triathlon, which is fantastic, and our association with them has been fantastic and really taken Arena Games Triathlon to a new level. But she just concentrates on getting this win, and if Potter's wheels do fall off, she could add to that a world title and we think, and we're just working it out with our statistics guru Graham Atchison, Potter would need to finish 5th or lower than 5th in order for Bragmaier to take the world title. So it's all in Potter's hands, but Bragmaier will be looking to pick up a hefty paycheck and also some really, really good points with the race win here in Singapore as they head up the stairs once again.
Beth made her first glance back then. It was interesting. She saw her get out of the water. She never looked back once to see where any of the other athletes were, and it wasn't until she got to the top of this run exit from the swim that she had a glance to see where Georgia Taylor-Brown and Sian Rainsley were.
You saw Georgia's just actually closed that gap up to Sian Rainsley on the swim, so she must have had a really good swim. Sian had the fastest swim in the racing and the heats yesterday. Fantastic swimmer, but starting to really feel the pinch now, it would seem, because Georgia did swim up to her during that leg.
And they both lost, 4 seconds as well on that swim to Bragmaier and Potter, who now jump onto the bike for the last time. For the last 4 kilometres between this woman here, the Scotswoman, Beth Potter, first person selected for Team Scotland for the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. It's just only a couple of months away now.
Yeah, Bragmaier's gone. She's put 3 seconds out of the transition, straight on Potter. I wonder if Beth's looking around and thinking, okay, Sian Rainsley, Georgia Taylor-Brown at 20 seconds back, 22 seconds back. I've just got to control my emotions, control my output, and I'm a world champion. Forget what Bragmaier's doing.
Well, that's it. Right now, it's whether she goes for this race win and risks a big blow-up, or whether she goes, actually, the championship is more important, and I'm just going to protect myself, I'm going to get to the finish, and I'm going to be world champion.
And she's going to go for it.
She's gaining on it now.
I think she's going to go for it.
But it's Beth Potter, and she doesn't know how to to back off. She wants to win this. She wants to win the race today and win it in style.
In this context, for those who are used to riding on Zwift, normally you'd say, oh, well, Beth Potter, she should take the draft. There is no draft in this racing. We took that off after Munich. So for London and here in Singapore, there's no available draft in Zwift. So it's no easier to sit behind any other athlete, because what we wanted to do was make it the pure athletic effort delivers you, along with transitions, of course, the world title. So the tactics is gone. It's who can swim, bike, run and transition the best, and also in reverse order, and also back to back to back. and
also
goes through
in
that.
this heat.
In this heat, indeed, and in the bathwater. And then if you can do all of that and you can do it well, then you can be world champion. And Beth Potter has got one hand on it. She has gotten better and better since she switched over from running. She's been to the Olympics as a runner already, and decided in 2017, I'm going to give the triathlon thing a go. She went and moved in with Johnny Brownlee, if you don't mind, up in Leeds. Still trains with the Brownlee brothers. And she has just, well, in 2019, she was European champion. So you know how quickly she's gotten better. And I feel like the next 18 months towards this cycle up to Paris is Beth Potter's time if she can bring it all together.
Yeah, we sort of mentioned earlier the strength of that British team, and it's so hard to get into it. And Beth knows that. She knows she's one of those athletes who would have dearly loved to be on the start line in Tokyo last year, but due to the sheer strength of our team, unfortunately didn't make it. And so she knows these next 18 months are absolutely critical. She's going to have any chance.
Georgia Taylor-Brown is having a bike. She's
coming.
24 seconds, but she's now 18 seconds adrift from these two, who, as I said, have no draft off each other. So Taylor-Brown being by herself is no disadvantage to her whatsoever, and we're seeing the numbers slowly dwindle. Does she have the run? Maybe not against Beth Potter, but she can give herself a shot as they head through the rollers for the first time, which means they're nearing that 2K mark on the bike.
Look at the effort Bragmaier's putting in. She's committed to staying as close to Beth Potter on this bike as she possibly can. She's rocking and rolling on that saddle. She's all in stage 3.
She showed she could match Beth
Yeah.
on the treadmill in stage 2. And then, in fact, in stage 1, she outran Beth on the treadmill. So I think she knows that actually if she can just stay within touching distance, she can actually possibly win this stage and win the overall.
Which would be amazing. What a performance if she was to pull that off. And she's still well and truly in the hunt to do so.
Well, we saw Beth Potter got shown up in the run from Cassandra Beaugrand in London. She would not have liked that because she has this identity as the fastest runner out there.
Queen of Arena Games, the queen of the run.
Yeah.
Exactly, and she wouldn't want that to happen again, not from Janet Bragmaier, and it is confirmed then if Bragmaier wins, if Beth Potter finishes 4th, she'll win by a single point. If she finishes 5th, it's Bragmaier's to take. So it's down to Taylor-Brown, Rainsley and Knoll to suddenly find 40 seconds from nowhere. I'm not sure that's going to happen. So it's the probable world champion up against the possible race winner.
Was it the virtual world the probable world champion is Beth Potter right now.
Absolutely, she's definitely in the box seat. She'll want to win this race as well, pick up the full suite of World Cup level points in terms of the qualification process from World Triathlon, but also she's going to want to take that money, which is, as crass as it is, definitely a factor that comes into things.
Yeah,
and she's going to want to win the world title with a win.
Absolutely. You always want to, especially in a series type event, you want to win the world title by winning the event, the final event on the day.
Did you do that?
Unfortunately, I did not do that. I really wanted to. I got pipped at the finish. I came second. But
Was
it
that
was a
Ashley
no.
Gentle?
Correct.
Ashley
Australian.
Gentle. An Australian did that.
An Australian.
Yes,
Who'd have
on the
thought?
Gold Coast.
In Ashley Gentle's home, so it actually felt a little bit fairer. She got the race in her hometown. I got the world title.
Nice of you to give that to her.
Yes, obviously. We all went home happy.
Polite Brits.
They're so nice like that, aren't they? Only half a second after all of this pain separates Beth Potter and Janet Bragmaier, who have been stuck together like glue over the last stage and a half. Taylor-Brown's taken 8 seconds out of the pair of them over the course of the last 3.2 kilometres. Rainsley has dropped off somewhat from Knoll, who won't feature now. Daniels, De Koning, Meisters have a tough day at the office, as has Hannah De Vet, who came in off the back of the repechage. You can really see the difference between the athletes like Knoll. I wonder what she could have done had she not had to go to the repechage this morning, because at 11 o'clock it was much hotter than what it is even now. So to be able to recover from that and go again, that's probably 45 seconds right there. So that hurt her.
Same for Janet Bragmaier here. She raced this morning as well and is putting up an
Maybe she needs to race
unbelievable
multiple
fight
times a day.
There you go. This obviously gets better as she goes along each time.
1 kilometre and 1.4 seconds. So Bragmaier over the last couple of 100 metres has lost a second. And Potter, she ran a 3:18 last time out as the rain falls now here in Singapore.
I'm keen to see this run by Bragmaier. She's been all in for 4,000 metres on that bike. She's been rocking and rolling in a lot of pain. She's not renowned as a huge runner, but she's been running amazing in Arena Games racing. Great transition.
Good effort off the bike. Now it's all about getting the shoes on, and this is the queen of transition. Potter knows how to do it. Bang, bang, bang. When you look back at what Learmonth had, obviously she has a hip issue. That was superb. And these two, as Taylor Brown gingerly gets off the bike.
Georgia didn't run very well on the treadmill either of the first 2 rounds, and Sian was much better. So I think that nearly 20-second buffer she's managed to eke out during that bike leg is going to be really important for her here.
Yeah.
Bragmaier has beaten Potter in both runs in the earlier stages, but only by a couple of seconds. So can Beth Potter take her out?
Here's Bragmaier.
Here comes Bragmaier.
Wow.
For the race win. There's 900 metres left. It's Potter, the queen of the run, up against Jana Bragmaier, who is having the Arena Games of her career. 17.5 kilometres an hour. Look at that. Nothing between them whatsoever. This is what we wanted. She's running past Potter.
That is fantastic, and she was so committed on the bike. I was so eager to see how she'd handle that transition from bike to run, and she has just gone bang.
The look on Beth's face tells me she's got nothing to respond with as well. That is not the face of someone who's got another gear and is determined that they've got something else. You can see she's just hanging on for the finish now.
Well, she is, because she knows that she's got the world title in the bag. She just is 700 metres away from it. Bragmaier is extremely committed to this race win. She has nothing else to worry about. And when you're in this much pain, in this much heat, in this much humidity, that's probably what's going to get you over the line, isn't it? Pure motivation. 650 metres to go. Bragmaier, Potter, 1.4 seconds. It's steady at that amount. Taylor Brown, 21 seconds back. Rainsley, 39.
Annabelle at 44, but Bragmaier, gee, she runs well on these treadmills. It's amazing. She's slowly applying the pressure, opening the gap. I agree, Beth is just hanging tough. She's all in. She's hanging to make this finish.
She knows it's still only 2.5 seconds, so she's still in with a chance, but I'm just not sure if she's got another gear that she's going to need now to catch back up to Bragmaier.
She has to go now if she's going to go. That gap's slowly peeling up, slowly opening.
I really feel we've done...
She's digging so deep right now.
She's absolutely all in. You can see she's rocking and rolling, almost like she was doing on the bike as well. But I feel like we may have done her a bit of a disservice. We haven't mentioned her before halfway through the second stage today.
Well, she had an average opening stage. She wasn't there.
And she's got better and better as the day and the stages have gone on.
Yeah.
8th in Munich. Bragmaier, 10th in London, just squeaked into the final, and now she is about to hand a lesson to Beth Potter, Georgia Taylor Brown and Sian Rainsley, who have dominated the pre-race chat over the course of the last 36 hours or so, and the podium getter from Munich in Annabelle Knoll. Bragmaier has been not an also-ran, but she hasn't figured at the pointy end at all, and now she's about to, well, just like Bogram did, she's about to out-Potter Potter.
Yeah, and scoring maximum points for the championship final.
And also, if we're looking back to 3rd and 4th, Sian has halved the distance that Georgia managed to get on her nearly on the bike. So she's coming for Georgia. So that battle for 3rd is not over yet.
No, it's not. And they're a good couple of 100 metres back, because they're, of course, 40 seconds adrift. 100 metres to go, though, for Janet Bragmaier, who is about to post a very unlikely win over the rest of these athletes. And as we see in Super League Triathlon, it's the conditions that do it over and over, and this time rising to the top. It's Bragmaier who does it. She is your Arena Games Triathlon Singapore Finals champion.
What a great race. Janet Bragmaier. How ecstatic was she?
She is over the moon. She had a fantastic performance at the Olympics, actually, with 12th place. I know that was a real career highlight for her, but, you know, she's shy on career wins, so to come here and in a stacked field in hard conditions to get better every round and have to race 3 times to Beth Potter's twice over the weekend, phenomenal performance.
And there is your world champion, lying down on the treadmill. On the self-powered treadmill, as behind Georgia Taylor Brown does take 3rd, but she only had 7 seconds in the end, with 20 seconds a minute ago, from Sian Rainsley, who finishes fast, from Annabelle Knoll, who's still out there. But there is your champion from this race, Bragmaier, the 28-year-old from Hungary. So much experience in those legs. She's had 136 World Triathlon starts for 11 wins and 22 podiums. And we're going to head down now to Annie.
Here in Singapore. Sorry.
Annie, can you hear us? Go for it.
Jeanette, what a race. You've left me speechless. You've brought the best race of your career to Singapore. How does that feel?
Surprise, surprise. Probably sometimes the worst day is your best day. Felt really weak during the week, and probably the rapid charge warm up me well. So thank you for everyone for cheering me. It was very good.
You've beaten Beth Potter, the queen of Arena Games, here in the race today. How did you do it?
I don't know, really. Not every day a champion day, I guess. So, yeah, she's an amazing athlete. Like, everyone is amazing. Yeah, I had a really good day. I have good legs. So, that's it.
The conditions might not be favourable for the fans, but they were more favourable to the athletes today.
Oh, my goodness. This heat is just killing it. So, no, normally I don't like this weather. So, yeah, it was so good for me. Yeah.
And your thoughts of Beth Potter, who will take the title overall? I think we're being called off now because we do have the medal ceremony underway.
There's your world title winner, and she did it the hard way, Beth Potter, as we look back at the stage. And they started together, which I said hasn't happened before in Arena Games Triathlon after the two stages. Normally there's some big splits there, but it was Bragmaier who, off the course of a great swim to finish that second stage, backed it up with a nice swim, put 3 or 4 seconds into the chasers in Rainsley and Georgia Taylor-Brown. And Potter, well, she was happy to sit in on that one, and Bragmaier was just motivated.
Oh, without question. She was strong on this bike leg. She had great transitions. You see her all in on the bike. I thought she was doing everything she could to hang on to Potter, but when she moved past on this run and posted the fastest run of the weekend to win today's stage, well deserved.
Yeah, and she earned it, and didn't she love it as well? And Beth Potter, who has struggled with a little bit of illness and definitely with the heat, she has a little shiver there. She'll be needing to get plenty of fluids in, but she'll know that she has taken that world title. And what a way to start her 2022, which, you know, plenty of us think is going to be a pretty big one for her.
Oh, she's come into this entire Arena Games racing in impeccable form. She's been building as she went through. She had a few challenges with Cassandra Beaugrand a couple of weeks ago in London, and a great challenge today against Jeanette Bragmaier. But I think she's going to build from here, going across to Yokohama now for the World Triathlon Series. She's going to be a big player in 2022.
The rain absolutely tipping it down here in Singapore. Bragmaier in the end was 4 seconds ahead of Potter. Taylor-Brown held off Rainsley. Now that could work out to be extremely important in terms of the World Championship podium, which we'll see in just a second. Rainsley in the end 42 seconds back from Knoll, who was the only one inside the minute. Meissner, Daniels, De Koning and Hannah de Vet nearly 2 minutes to the back, but it could be that Bragmaier launched herself onto a World Championship podium by virtue of that win.
Deservingly so.
Have you ever seen a World Championship winner look that unhappy?
Yeah, she looks... I think that just hurt. It hurt
Very
a lot.
much,
No, it really, really hurt. It's been a long weekend of racing. It's been a long series. I think there was a lot of pressure on Beth. She realised this was a World Championship she could win. She took it very, very seriously. I think she was rattled from the defeat from Cassandra Beaugrand in London. And she's come here, got rattled again by Jeanette Bragmaier, but she's hung on and done enough to win. I think it's just as much relief as it is fatigue.
Yeah, a little bit of illness, as we said, for Beth Potter overnight, and she's very much a confidence athlete. If she feels confident, she can deliver, but she does sometimes get a little rattled by things not going well. And of course, when you're crossing 7 time zones and you're coming into this level of heat, it is a very difficult thing to deal with. So they pivoted, used the ice, and she did well there to have it across her back and just hang on. She never felt comfortable though, and we heard that after she was interviewed in the middle of that race.
Yeah, she didn't, but she put herself in the position from stage 1. The entire stage had opened with a great first swim in stage 1. She was right in the mix. She stayed close. We were concerned about the open water swim and how she'd handle that. She handled it impeccably, and she set it up with a big stage 2, and then to really follow through and hang as close to Jeanette as she could to win that championship. It's very, very well deserved.
Hayden Wild in the background there as we continue our build-up now, and we'll see the Women's Championship podium. And we're just having the results verified by World Triathlon as we continue our build-up to the men's race. He's copped a shoulder there for a second, Hayden Wild.
He's a disruptor, Hayden Wild, isn't he? Here's his first Arena Games weekend of racing. He came to Super League Championship racing years ago and disrupted it all. Is now one of our key players, an Olympic bronze medalist now, and I expect big things from him. I didn't pick him to win Arena Games Singapore. I thought he'd take some teething time to get into it, but it didn't happen.
No, it didn't. His transitions were superb, and he had a great win in the second heat. As you can see, the shaking on the hands of Beth Potter. We're going to go down now to Annie Emerson.
Wow, I mean, just tense moments here. We've got Beth. She's slightly struggling to recover from that monumental effort. Good, she's okay. She's got some sugar down her. Just talk us through that. I mean, second in the race here, but you are world champion, Beth, and that's got to mean a whole lot to you here.
Yeah, I mean, that was tough, just the last bit. I just was in a bit of a wall of pain, but I just kept going, and, you know, it's a shame that Jess pulled up and stuff, but I think it was...
I'm loving this. I'm loving this. We've got cakes for the world champion. That is what she needs right now. Just talk us through Jeanette's performance today. I mean, none of us expected that, and for her to stick with you on the treadmill, that was immense.
Yeah, she helped me a lot in the swim. I just said to her, let's not fight. So she led us out in the swim, and yeah, I just tried to stay with her at the end. I just tried to close it and maybe left it a bit too late, but I gave it everything today, so.
But smart racing for you, because you used her feet. She's a strong swimmer. You got on her feet and you saved yourself a little bit of energy there.
Yeah, and I think, you know, considering how I felt yesterday, I felt horrific yesterday, so to come back today and have a much better performance, I'm very happy with that.
Beth, you've been to the Olympics as a runner. You have raced, we're going to let her eat her cake. You have raced so many triathlons now. You've only been in the sport a few years, so is this the toughest race that you have ever done?
That was tough, but I don't know. I think they're all tough. They're all tough.
Lucky for you today that the rain came. It's not so good for the fans, but it definitely helped, although we can see you're struggling.
Yeah, no, rain, it's a bit like Leeds today, but it was good, and yeah, it was different conditions to yesterday.
Well, it is fantastic to be able to call you the world champion. You made history here today, Beth, and we're all incredibly proud. Get well, and we'll see you on the podium shortly.
Okay, look at that rain absolutely tipping down now, which is probably just a little bit better for the athletes, although, of course, it's cleared out. The fans have gone back to find themselves under cover, and now we continue our build-up to the men's race, and we look back as well.
Time to get it underway. Can someone go sub-2 in the swim?
That's a big gap to Alex G in yellow. Stapley looks to believe he can win this event.
Strata and Stapley are on the bike together.
Strata's gone to the lead. Set Alex G closing the gap at the back there. Is 7 seconds enough on Alex G?
So Yee already, look at that.
And he's got him.
Stage 2 underway.
It's Nischlag who has gone out very, very quick and tagging Alex G.
All right, he's off. And he's got the shoes off. And he's heading to the bike.
It's just power versus power. Nischlag at 5.4 watts a kilo versus Alex G's 5.5. He has ridden away just as Nischlag.
He just doesn't make errors in transition. That was fast.
Fantastic transition. Chasing time now to set him up for stage 3.
Well, now the question is, can Alex G respond? It's just as Nischlag into the water right now. He needs to make the most of this 16 seconds. They're all such big gaps now as Nischlag comes out of the water. 2 disciplines to go. Well, there is Nischlag, 25 seconds to the good. He looks exactly the same as he did in stage 1. He just keeps plugging away until other people crack. He takes another win, just as Nischlag.
Just amazing. So 2 weeks ago I complete the full medal set, and first I began with a victory in Rotterdam, then I was second in London, third in Munich, and now I'm really happy to be back on the top of the podium.
It was just a Nischlag's day in London as we look now at the final championship standings, and on 713 points after taking the second place on double points in Singapore, it's Beth Potter confirmed as your champion, and she earned it. How about Bragmaier taking the full 500 off the back of those 2 lesser results to catapult herself into a silver medal in the World Championship ahead of Georgia Taylor-Brown, who indeed needed to get that result if she was going to stay clear of Annabelle Knoll and knock the German off the podium. But three women up there in 1, 2 and 3 have all shown their class across the course of 3 rounds.
Yeah, we talked about it being consistent across 3 rounds. Your 2 highest races paying for the win, but here we are on the men's.
Yeah, that is the championship standings. I don't know if that is actually correct, if I'm being honest. Gordon Benson is not indeed at the top, so we will take that off the screen. Indeed, what is actually happening is Aurelian Raphael and Justus Nieschlag, there you can see, are 1 and 2. You can see the numbers next to their name. They are, in fact, the 2 men who come into this on maximum points.
Yes.
And then you've got Alex Yee as well, who's sitting there and can take it out with a win, as can Max Stapley. But Stapley had to go in the repechage this morning.
He did. And that's, as I said, you've got to count your highest 2 races. So that just summed the last 2 races. Some of the athletes didn't race in London. And they're coming here to go the double points, and here we go on the heats.
Here was the heats, and it was Kenji Nina, who is racing for Japan, who came out of the water ahead of Martin Van Riel in that first one, and that's how it finished in the heats, because Nina had a mammoth bike at over 6 watts a kilogram to put some time into the rest. Now, Van Riel did okay, but he didn't look like he was 100%, but he scraped in and avoided having to head to the repechage.
Look, Kenji Nina did a number on Martin Van Riel. I think we've expected so much from Martin in Arena Games racing. He's been so successful at it. He had that hiccup in Munich, but he did not look fantastic in the heats.
Yeah, but you can't count him out. And then in the second heat, it was Hayden Wilde, who has never raced in Arena Games, unlike Justus Nieschlag, who's been in every single one of them. It was Wilde who posted the second fastest time of the day across all heats, and he had 3 of the 4 fastest transitions, which just shows you that when you're on your game, you don't need experience. He's a contender who does the 1%ers.
Yeah, well, Hayden Wilde's been a disruptor in Super League racing since he came along. I didn't pick him to be successful at Arena Games. He went straight out of the blocks, proved me wrong. An amazing athlete who's coming into strength as he ages.
It almost seems ridiculous when he just came onto the scene through Super League Triathlon, and in a sprint finish with Mario Mola all those years ago in Jersey, he announced himself. Yeah. And speaking of announcing yourself, Aurelian Raphael, fastest time of the day off the back of a couple of mammoth swims. And he had that technical back in London, and that made him extremely mad, and he wants to take out this world title. And maybe he even wants to take it out a little bit more than Alex Yee. He's so motivated, Raphael. Yee actually copped a 5-second penalty for having his towel not in the box, but that didn't stop him from going straight through to the final.
I was out of breath at 16k an hour, and I just thought, honestly, does this require some technique, or is my running gone to terrible? So I just was nonplussed as to what to expect.
It's really, really super tough. It's especially the conditions here with the humidity and the heat that make it absolutely brutal. There's no moment of resting anymore because it's non-drafting, and yeah, it absolutely kills you.
I absolutely love the heat, and guys having like Kenji and Martin and hopefully Alex going around 3, it's going to be very intense, so looking forward to that.
Outside is different due to the swim, and I had some problems on the first one. I saw the guys were gone on the first swim, and so I had to push really hard on the bike to close the gap, and I think that's the main difference in swim.
Yee is very strong this weekend. Tomorrow it's a new day, and good luck for everyone.
Alex, you had us a bit worried there. Talk us through that penalty.
Yeah, no, my mistake. I thought I was being clever, putting my towel on the front so I could wipe the sweat off. Obviously, when you're in the heat of the moment, you forget to do things like I had to put that in the box, and I didn't, so my mistake. But yeah, in the heat of the moment, you're just so emotional, but yeah, we had a lot of time, so it was fine.
Look at that rain pouring down. As we look at the start list, Trent Thorpe there came through, as did Max Stapley by virtue of the repechages, as did Daniel Dixon and Chase McQueen in 9 and 10. And there are your contenders who didn't. Wild, Raphael, Nina, Nieschlag, Van Riel and Yee. It is Raphael's to lose, you would have thought, although, someone like a Justus Nieschlag is going to have, if he does indeed manage to hang in the swim, he could, and he probably deserves to be our World Championship winner.
Well, he does, but Aurelian Raphael, I spoke to him before we came into commentary. He is so focused and so pumped to win this. He wants this World Championship, concerned about Hayden Wilde and Alex Yee to beat him.
All right, look for Martin Van Riel and Hayden Wilde to upset the apple cart as well. The stage is set.
Here we go. 3 stages, everyone different, everyone harder than the one before. Stage 1, swim 200 metres in Marina Bay Reservoir. Transition from there into the wonderful world of Zwift for 4 kilometres on the Tax Turbo trainer around Crit City. And then onto the self-powered treadmill for a 1 kilometre sprint. Take a couple of minutes break and then embark on stage 2. This time backwards, starting with the run and ending in the water. Every second you lose to the leader will cost you at the start of stage 3. A pursuit start, back to swim, bike, run, with the first across the line, the winner.
We have crowned one triathlon esports world champion, the first ever. A future trivia question, and it will be Beth Potter. Janet Bragmaier was second overall by virtue of that incredible race win, and congratulations to her. And Georgia Taylor-Brown held off Sian Rainsley to finish on the podium as well. A podium that we couldn't have because it is just too wet in Singapore after a whole week of incredibly hot temperatures. The rain pours down, and yet another wrinkle in the Arena Games story. Now we get set for the men, and a reminder, 3 stages if you're just joining us. Swim, bike, run, 200 metres, 4 kilometres and 1 kilometre. Then a couple of minutes break and we make them go backwards. Run, bike and swim at the same distances for the second stage. Now, every second you lose to the leader will be paid for in stage 3. A final swim, bike and run. And the winner will pick up incredible World Triathlon points, a big paycheck, and just might figure in the World Championship title. Staying warm out there. What about that? We haven't had the problem before. And on comes, and starting in the grey, that is Chase McQueen.
Who can swim? Lightning Chase McQueen.
All right, McQueen comes out first, and you're right. We need to call him Lightning from now on. It's criminal that he hasn't been called Lightning McQueen, at least that I've heard previous to that. Daniel Dixon, the youngster. You know, Vix, as you welcome us back, you're very wet. Are you okay? You had a run outside.
I mean, I don't want to overstate the issue, but it's really raining out there. And we're about 400 metres away here in the commentary box from the race site. So, yeah, I've got a little bit soaked, but it's fine. It's lovely and cooling.
Good to see you still quick over 400. Not as quick as Alex Shee. He'll be looking for a championship win, and Martin Van Riel will be looking to deny people the championship win.
I think he's looking for a bit of form, Martin Van Riel. He's been off since the last couple of Arena Games racing. He just hasn't been the same Martin Van Riel we've seen in the earlier races, but just as Nieschlag has, he is on.
You have to say, he deserves this world
without
title.
question.
He has
so consistent.
Yeah, I mean, he's won twice.
Yes.
He's had a second and third, never finished off the podium. And he just gets better across the course of 3 stages. He doesn't figure in the first stage. He's there or thereabouts, and then people just start dropping off.
Yeah.
And he remains as Kenji Nina comes out as well.
He's my favourite to win, Aurélien Raphael. He is so focused on this World Championship. He wants this more than anything. The French have been dominating Super League racing, so nothing will be different with the French winner here.
Hayden Wild, the Falcon, does the Falcon wings, and out he comes. He's been called the Falcon since the first time we went to Malta, I think, in 2018. And Max Stapley, that's an Australian flag, Vicki Holland.
Yes.
I don't care that he lives in Leeds.
He's an Aussie.
We're trying to claim him. We're trying to claim him. A little bit longer, we might have him.
Irrelevant. Trent Thorpe, the Kiwi. Oh, I'll claim that as an Australian flag too. Why not? Apparently there's no rules as the rain teams down underneath the Vincent Lewis building, and we get set for 3 brutal stages. Beth Potter still recovering, but surely a world title will help her with that as we get ready to get underway here. It's a rainbow of colours underneath grey skies.
Look for the speed on the outside with Chase McQueen and Max Stapley. Both either ends of the pontoon are very, very quick, with Aurélien Raphael right in the middle in orange.
Thorpe, Stapley, Wild, Raphael, Nina, Nieschlag, Van Riel in the pink, and they're into the water.
McQueen out very, very well. That outside line, as you know from World Triathlon Series racing, if you get that outside part on the pontoon, you get no one on your inner thigh and you can get a good start.
Oh, it's definitely an advantage. And in normal outdoor racing, you get to choose your start position on the pontoon depending on your ranking. So the higher ranked athletes can choose first, and they often go to the edge. In this racing, we're finding the higher ranked athletes have been put into the middle of the pontoon, which is definitely a little bit of a shake-up from what we're used to.
Yeah, it's to replicate, of course, the pool starts that we've had in the last 2, where where, like in any pool racing, the fastest are in, and that's Alex Gia at the back. You're correct.
But that's not. On the front is Aurelien Raphael straight to the front with McQueen in grey just off the back of him. And Max Stapley
just on his hip as well. Yeah, those swimmers are a next level, really. And we've seen them dominate in the pool, and we're seeing them do it exactly the same thing again here outdoors.
Is that Kenji Nina that was just there on the outside? But both Stapley...
Trent Thorpe, I think, in the white.
Oh, wow, the Kiwi. But Stapley and McQueen either side of that pontoon with Aurelien Raphael in the middle. Those three met at that first buoy.
We're seeing 4 athletes almost in a row behind Aurelien Raphael.
That's a gap.
And they're fighting each other a little bit, and Aurelien has
got the gap,
capitalised on that and made a bit of a gap there.
Yeah, they haven't worked together really on that one, sucking each other back as Yi and Van Riel's really struggling off the back there too.
That is a gap. This is the best swimmers in the world of triathlon, and Raphael has gapped them by 3 or 4 body lengths. He got around those swim buoys, as you said, Vix, much cleaner than the others, so they've been caught up bashing each other, and that gap's open.
We're just seeing, I think that's Max Stapley in second there in the black, so he's just making his way into second place with Trent Thorpe, I think that is on his hip. And Trent Thorpe came through the repechage as a bit of an underdog, actually, and he made it through with a lightning swim. That was what made the difference in his repechage heat. So he's showing again right now why he made it into this final.
The other one we haven't mentioned is Justus Nieschlag, who has been a fantastic swimmer, but a pool swim is different to a pack swim, and he's certainly not the same advantage in a pack swim. He's got a small frame, and he's in purple there. I can't see him at all. There he is at the back on the right, in fact. So he's going to lose. That could be 10 seconds or more to Raphael as Stapley and Thorpe comes out of the water. McQueen's there with Nina, and there is Martin Van Riel.
A lot of our big contenders
last
there.
out.
A lot of our big contenders there really struggling with that swim.
With Nieschlag and Yi at the very back.
That's exactly right. Now, our 4 men who can win it, the whole thing, win the World Championship with a win, are Aurelien Raphael of France, the 33-year-old, as he comes up the stairs. Justus Nieschlag, who is our most successful ever Arena Games athlete, the German. Max Stapley, the Australian Vicki. He can also win with a win, as can Alex Yi. And it's Raphael, then Stapley, who lead out. Now, Thorpe, he's been through the repechage, and in fact, so has Stapley, who was forced to go through the repechage again today, as he looks and goes, is that my...
Oh, no.
He's gone to the wrong basket. He's gone around the wrong way.
No,
he hurts everything.
He had his things in the right basket, but I think he ran through the wrong lane.
He
so
ran
he had
on
to
the
go
inside.
back to go around the outside of the lane there. All that advantage he built up there in the swim has just gone in a moment like that.
It's a long race.
It is.
It's a long race. He's old enough and he's been through enough at 33 to not get too stressed about that, but that's still a heartbreaking mistake.
We're going to see when they go to Zwift World where the positions are, because Kenji Nina looked very, very strong.
So Raphael 3 seconds down. That's a 15-second turnaround almost.
That is a huge difference there from where he was when he came out of the water.
Hayden Wild.
Hayden, who came out of the water at the back, and he's absolutely rocketed through transition, and he's already taking some time out of everyone else.
So Hayden Wild, as I said, he had in the 4 transitions in his heat yesterday, he was fastest in his heat in 3 of them, and he hasn't been in Arena Games before, but he has come here after a few years in the relative wilderness down in New Zealand, where he's been doing all sorts of strange races and winning basically all of them. Has come out in very sharp form in terms of transitions. Nina didn't have a fantastic swim either. He finds himself in second position, and Yi was at the back, and he is now in 3rd position. And that just shows you how important transition is to Arena Games and any Super League racing.
Look, the one thing you're going to get from Hayden Wild is a quick transition and a commitment on the bike. He is not shy to go to the front and push out power. He's done that. He's going to be very, very comfortable. Kenji Nina led start to finish in the heat, so he's comfortable out front. And Alex Yi, to make up that swim issue, last out of the water, 3rd now on the road. Fantastic.
8.1 watts a kilo from Hayden Wild up the cobblestones, and every one of them is now in the yellow, but that's the first time I've seen someone hit 8 watts a kilo, especially early on in this one. Wild set the fastest bike time of the day yesterday with a 5:10 in heat 2, and the only other 2 to dip under 5:20 were Nina and Nieschlag, and everyone else was inching up towards 5:30, so Wild could really put the hurt in here, as Raphael has now dropped to 9 seconds in arrears from being about 8 seconds in the lead, so that really hurts his championship's chances, and suddenly it's Alex Yi and Justus Nieschlag are in the box seat.
Especially, when Nieschlag has gone for Raphael, they got on the bike around about the same time, so that's been bike you've been outbiked. Fair and square.
Nieschlag has really just steadily made his way up the leaderboard there. He got on the bike about 8th or 9th position, and he's just creeping his way up, and we know he can make that treadmill move. He's exceptional on these self-powered treadmills, and I think he's just putting himself into a position to pounce when they get to that final leg.
Kenji Nina there in the middle box on your left looks like he's about to reach out and eat that iPad. He is looking in the zone, Kenji Nina, and he was the bike powerhouse in the heats yesterday. In the heats and in the heat itself, as he's now pushing about mid 300 watts. But Hayden Wild's pushing 400 watts, and he's putting time into Nina and the rest of the field. Raphael now at the back end after that swim. 12.3 seconds back, and that is going to be extremely hard to make up after what was a 2:07 swim over 200 in the open water from Aurelian Raphael, 6 seconds ahead of Stapley. With the rest of you can throw a blanket over the rest of them, but Aurelian Raphael was on another level.
Well, he's going to need another swim exactly the same with the gap that's coming out like this now at 14 seconds down. We're still so early on in this race, but in the second round, with that finish on the swim, he can really do some damage there.
Yeah. Raphael needs to keep his head in the game. It's one thing to have a mishap like that in transition. You can lose focus, you can get agitated at yourself, and suddenly in races this fast and this dynamic, you're 15 seconds back from leading the race to a poor transition to 15 seconds in arrears. He needs to get his head back in this racing and realise there's a long way to go before we crown this champion.
It's very tight on the run times between all of these guys, usually in around the high or low, to mid 240s for a kilometre on this treadmill, which is ridiculous. Even as I say that, I say it like it's a normal thing. It's not a normal thing. Right? As someone who is not an elite athlete, it's not normal to be able to run that fast. All of them within about a few seconds of Alex Yee's fastest ever run, which we saw in the mid 230s last time out in London. As Nina gets closer to eating that iPad, look at him there. He's staring. He's melting a hole in the screen with his view as he gets close to that. But he's gone under 40 kilometres an hour, whilst Hayden Wild is sitting at about 44 kilometres an hour, and that's why he's now out to a 5.2 second lead.
And just look at the difference in their faces.
He looks comfortable, Hayden Wild.
Looks, completely in control. And Kenji, to be honest, looked like that all through the heat as well. He was in the front of the heat and in charge, really,
Hayden's
but he looked like that.
Hayden's looking around. He's looking around.
Like, where are you all? What are you doing?
Jeez, I'm 6 seconds up.
We should reiterate the fact that because Hayden Wild hasn't been in London or Munich, he's not going to figure in the championship overall, just the way it stands at the moment, because even if he picks up the full 500 already, other athletes like Nieschlag and Raphael are already on 250. And the way the points work out, it's not going to mean that he figures in the overall, but he can take the points away and completely change as he gets off the bike and heads out onto the run at 6.5 seconds ahead of Kenji Nina, himself also having not raced in London or Munich. And the first real championship contender is Yee at 7.5 seconds back from Nieschlag at 8.7.
Got some work to do on his transitions there.
Yeah,
that wasn't a
worst.
Nieschlag transition, was it? That wasn't, smooth as we're used to seeing these top contenders do.
Yeah. That was his worst transition, I'd say, Hayden Wild. He got stuck on that left shoe. Couldn't get it on. Kenji Nina took a bit of time out of him, but Hayden's very, very comfortable on the treadmill. He's been doing a lot of track work in New Zealand. He's been stuck there outside that big event he did in Tokyo a couple of, 6 months ago, when he picked up a bronze. He's been doing a lot of track work trying to qualify for the Commonwealth Games team on the track for New Zealand.
I don't recall. What was that?
Oh, he did a race in Tokyo. It was pretty big. He did
it seems to be one of them about every
4 years or so.
Sometimes
now it's every 2 years.
Every 5.
Yeah.
5, 2.
We
Could
like
be
to
anything.
mix it up now.
So Nieschlag now sitting 4 seconds off the shoulder of Yee in that straight-out championship shootout, and around looks Aurelian Raphael, who needs to, as you say, resettle. But look at the stride or the cadence on Raphael versus those around him. He's got such long legs. He's just wandering along, and he's doing it.
It almost looks like he's not really putting as much effort in, but it's just his stride length is completely different to some of those other guys.
Nieschlag needs to focus on Alex Yee. They're together. He needs those time advantages going to that last race. We're chasing with Raphael so far back at 27 seconds. He has a lot of work to do in stage 2. It opens it up for Alex Yee and Justus Nieschlag to run away with this World Championship title.
Yeah, we saw the same in London, where Alex Yee finished round 1 ahead of Nieschlag, but Nieschlag actually started on the treadmill and took time out of Alex at the beginning of stage 2. So we know what Justus Nieschlag can do on that stage 2, and he's going to have to do it again today if he's going to overhaul Alex.
A 5:11 on the bike from Hayden Wild, which is a solid 6 seconds faster than Yee, who was second quickest, ahead of Nina and then Nieschlag and Van Riel. And then meanwhile, Raphael was out at a 5:32, so he actually gave away 21 seconds on that bike to Hayden Wild, who is coming here in some serious form. He is the man in mint green, and there he is right there, looking none too worried, at least in Zwiftland, and also looking very good in the real world as well. And this is really Alex Yee's time to shine, isn't it? Run back-to-back, or if you start running the second one, it usually really puts the hammer down in the second run. Although, if it's anything to do, like anything like the women's, it wasn't a fast run the second time around because they really couldn't recover quickly enough. Can Alex Yee do that? And that's where he tends to run away from the field. In the same way, in the reverse, at the end of stage 2, Aurélien Raphael needs to find a way back off back-to-back swims, because that is where he really shines.
Yeah. He's struggling, Aurélien Raphael. He came in very, very confident. He was great in the heats yesterday, but he just seems to be rattled. He just hasn't found his form. He hasn't been able to settle again, and he's losing time now.
It's all about the zone, this racing.
Yeah.
If you get dragged out of the zone mentally, it's very hard to find a way back into it after such a long day's build-up and waiting for this event too, and then you make a little mistake and then you're out of it. And Hayden Wild finishes stage 1, and he does so with a handy little gap of about 4.2 seconds.
There's a big gap between Yee and Nieschlag.
Yeah, Alex really started to take a little bit of time out of him there towards the end of that run, and as we saw Nieschlag really dominate that second run in London, Alex probably needed a little bit of that gap there. But you wouldn't want to say that Alex is not the fastest runner in this field, but just on the evidence of London, Nieschlag was so good on that second run.
Be interesting, Kenji Nina finishing 4th. Dry in the treadmill.
Yeah, a lot of them have been saying that because it's been such heavy rain, then when they're running on the treadmills, they can actually feel their feet slipping on them. So it was really important that they try and dry them off before each go, if they possibly can.
Just getting the gearing correct, ready for the next time out is Alex Yee, and he's been here before. He knows what these little 1%ers mean, and got to get the rubber bands sorted out so your feet can slip in well. And there is Raphael, who suddenly finds himself with about a 40-second turnaround. And what can he do about that? That is the question going into stage 2. Let's head down now to Annie Emerson, who is in amongst the action.
Wow, a stonking round, Hayden Wild. This is your first experience at Arena Games. Just give us a few words. How does it feel?
Oh, it's pretty tough, not gonna lie. Yeah, no, felt all right. Just gonna drink a drink here. Yeah, no, felt pretty good out there. Hopefully get ready for the next round. The boys come back hot, so.
Little bit cooler today. That's going to help all of the athletes.
Yeah, I was hoping it was a bit hotter, to be honest, but it is what it is, and we're, the sun gods are not coming out for us today, so it is what it is.
Great stuff. Good luck. Good luck.
It's always fun to listen to Hayden Wild. I think it's just the accent, really, as we head out and we go back in time to a time when Aurélien Raphael was feeling pretty good about where he was up to. After that killer swim, he was 6 seconds up out of the water. But as we know, transition, well, it's a tough one. He goes inside instead of outside. He gets told he needs to go around, and he does, but he sees all of that evaporate, and he doesn't really figure after that. Instead, it was Hayden Wild who dropped to 5:11 on the bike, despite the efforts of Kenji Nina. Hayden Wild just looked comfortable.
He looked the most comfortable of the day. Alex Yee, I think, is a performance we need to talk about. Rode solo very, very well and moved himself into position.
All right, 4 seconds the gap. Of course, we're going to see the gaps widen, or we thought we would in the women's. It didn't happen that way, but usually the gaps widen as the fatigue comes in stage 2. Alex Yee's already given 4 seconds away to Wild. Justus Nieschlag a further 14 seconds back off Yee. Those two locked in a battle for the World Championship. Nina and Van Riel. Then Dixon, McQueen, Stapley, all within 30 seconds. Stapley's going to have 2 killer swims back-to-back at the end of this one, as is McQueen, if they're going to figure. Trent Thorpe and Aurélien Raphael right off the back at 44 seconds is seeing his World Championship chances slip away. To start stage
Stage 2, a backwards triathlon ending in the water. Who will lose more time and who will make up time for the Stage 3 pursuit start?
Okay, we get set to go again, and there is the man who did the job and the man who saw it slip away, and you can see in their facial expressions exactly what's happened there. Can Aurelian Raphael find any way back at this speed?
Look, he has to have a dynamite opening run. It's whether he can get his head back in the game. He looked rattled. He still looks a little rattled. Hayden Wild's exactly where he wants to be. He's having the time of his life, and off they go.
Off they go indeed, and getting that treadmill up to speed is absolutely key. Nice high knees running there from Aurelian Raphael, who knows he needs to dominate in this one if he is going to have any chance whatsoever, as the rain eases off and the crowd is back, and we can see in the wonderful world of Zwift exactly what's happening. And Alex Yee, I think at the moment, if we had to pick someone, Alex Yee sitting in the box seat, because Justus Nieschlag has seen what is usually his swim advantage disappear in the pack.
Yeah, he has, and Alex took 11 seconds out of him on that final run of that stage there. So Alex ran a 2:41, Justus Nieschlag was at a 2:52, so that's a big difference. Justus Nieschlag's really going to have to find another gear here if he's going to put himself back in contention.
Remember, this was with a swim finish, so you've got to look at the athletes with that strong swim finish in this stage. Aurelian Raphael gone to the front with Hayden Wild, but Yee's got Martin Van Riel and Chase McQueen right with him. So they're going to, they're going to finish fast in that swim, as was Kenji Nina. So if you're Aurelian Raphael, you need to go out of the blocks hard, which he's done. Hayden Wild's going to track him. Alex Yee can be a little bit more relaxed. Not too relaxed, but a little bit more relaxed, knowing that there's some swim power around him if his bike's not there.
Just shows us that the importance of avoiding that repechage this morning in the heat and humidity, in that four men who were in the repechage, Daniel Dixon, Chase McQueen, Max Stapley and Trent Thorpe, when you take away Aurelian Raphael, who made the mistake, they're the four who sit at the back. So our other five men who had the morning off and can come into this fresh are the ones that are contending. And at the front now, it's Wild, who has turned around just in 300 metres, a 1 second disadvantage to a 1 second advantage as he puts the hammer down, and Raphael is starting now to drop through the group as Yee takes over in second position.
And a really good run there from Dan Dixon. He's really putting his stall out there. He's only a 19-year-old lad. He's come here his first time at Super League, and he really wants to take the bull by the horns and give it everything he can. He came through the repechage today, but he was really close to making it from his heat yesterday, so he's had to work really hard twice before he got to the final even.
Nieschlag's putting himself with a lot of work to do, sitting at 7 seconds back, especially when Alex Yee is sitting just off the shoulder of Hayden Wild. There's a 5 second deficit on this opening run between Nieschlag and Yee, who are chasing that World Championship. That is a lot of work for Nieschlag. Whether he's not feeling good or this is a tactical move, we're going to find out.
Yeah, normally he gets better and better across the course, and he's obviously put a lot of eggs into this basket, but at the moment it's not working out, and as it stands, it looks like both World Championship titles could go to Great Britain, which, with Vicki Holland alongside me, is not outstanding, because she's going to get very overexcited.
I mean, I'm not devastated about that prospect, to be honest with you. So it would be a pretty good day out for us Brits if we can go home with 2 world titles, that's for sure.
What a way to watch triathlon, though. And normally you watch people zipping past and you wait for the next lap, but you can see every minute of the action here from the shores of Marina Bay Reservoir, and just behind on the top of right-hand shot you can see just the first few floors of the 10 million of Marina Bay Sands. We are right in the heart of Singapore, and we thank Sports Singapore for organising for us to be able to swim in Marina Bay Reservoir. It's truly a world first, and I think they're going to be looking at more world-class sporting events to increase the vibrancy, if you like. It doesn't need it because it's such an amazing place, of the centre of Singapore. As Yee jumps on to the bike, there is Van Riel out of the saddle in the pink on the right, Daniel Dixon in orange on the left, and 300 or the mid 300 watts for Alex Yee as he tries to track down the incredible bike power of Hayden Wild.
Yeah, it's remarkable. We talk about Hayden Wild's bike skills. He's remarkable in these criterium courses in the Championship Series, but he's pure, watts per kilo, are superior to everybody. He just rides the bike phenomenally well.
He also ran then exactly the same time as he put down in the first round, I think, so that's twice he's been able to run that fast. I mean, 2:42 I think he ran in that round there. That's phenomenal running.
And Hayden Wilde and Alex Shea are creating a great rivalry. It's been going for a few years now. They're good friends, but they're always locked together in these races. We saw it through the Championship Series last year, racing head to head. We see it in World Championship Series racing, and now again in Arena Games.
Chase McQueen coming in to third position now, trying to separate himself from that pack with Dixon and Nieschlag. Of course, as I said, no drafting in this one, so it doesn't really matter where you sit. It's purely about that athletic prowess as Hayden Wilde gets up in the saddle, pushes 400 plus watts up the cobblestones. He goes into the yellow numbers up there on Zwift on the right-hand side, 6.5 watts a kilo, as does McQueen and Dixon, and now Nieschlag as they hit the cobblestones as well, but Wild through it, and there is Yi behind him, still climbing on the trek.
Alex Yi's avatar is actually a bit of a ringer for him, I thought there. You know, sometimes they look a bit off, shall we say, but I felt like that looked quite like Alex.
Well, Zwift actually made the effort to make everyone look similar to what they actually look like. Of course, there's limitations to that, but yeah, I think they've got.
I think Alex looks pretty good there. I'll give them kudos for that.
Well, it looks more comfortable in Zwift than it does in real life. But
breathing through his nose on Zwift, I think.
Hayden Wilde looks more comfortable in real life than he does on Zwift. He doesn't seem to fatigue. He's the Georgia Taylor Brown on the men's side.
Yeah, just purely relaxed in his face, isn't he?
He focuses, but looks around, looks to be having a good time. It's the first grimace we've seen.
Yeah, as we spoke about it, just a tiny little grimace crept in there.
Maybe he's got one of the headphones in. He's listening to the commentary. Surely not. There is Raphael, who is still struggling. He's leaked a further 19 seconds. So don't forget, these time gaps you're seeing at the top right-hand side of your screen, they're going to be added to the time gaps that were already created in stage one. So Hayden Wilde is going to have more of an advantage in a pursuit start if it finishes as it stands than the 6.5 seconds than you see there. And Alex Yi knows that he needs to make sure he has a big bike here and finishes, because he knows he's got 2 swim back-to-back. So he's not going to run again for another 4 stages.
Yeah. But Nieschlag's moving through the field. He came from 6th position. He's gone past Kenji Nina. He's gone past Chase McQueen. And Dixon are now sitting in 3rd, just at 2 seconds behind Alex Yi. So he's doing what he normally does, builds through the stage.
Has he left it too late, though?
Yes.
Let's not forget, Hayden Wilde's not going to be in the championship. It's Yi he has to track down. He needs to take time back.
Yes.
So by the time they swim, at the end of this swim, but the swim's going to be strung out, so it's not a pack swim for him this time.
He needs to go past Yi, pull back some of that lost time from stage 1. Forget Hayden Wilde. Hayden Wilde is not chasing the championship. He's chasing the race win today, but this championship is between Alex Yi and Justus Nieschlag. Aurelien Raphael is out. He'll be more than a minute back.
There's 2 races really going on today. There's the individual race, which at the moment Hayden's in the box seat for. He looks really good across all disciplines. And then we've got the championship race. And at the moment, that is a real battle between Alex Yi and Justus Nieschlag. At the moment, Alex has got a small advantage, but as we just said, Justus Nieschlag's so experienced at racing Arena Games, and he seems to just get better every stage.
If you're Hayden Wilde, you go home after this and kick yourself for not turning up in London or not going to Munich, because it's been a dominating performance. He's done that in the heats. Every single stage he's raced in Arena Games, he's won.
That is exactly right. And he's also won most of the transitions, although he did have a tardy one. And he said to me yesterday, he's like, I'm building for Yokohama next weekend, and I just thought I'd come and have, a heavy training session. I'd come and have a quick hit out. And he's going to have a quick hit out and just beat everybody.
Yeah.
It's a bit demoralising, that, isn't it? For all the other lads.
For everyone, including us, everyone who heard it.
He showed his hand. He's going to go to Yokohama as the favourite to win that event. I think his form's on point. He's a great distance runner. He's been doing all the track work. His run's right there. So a great statement by Hayden Wilde.
It's too hot even for the Red Bull headband. You know when someone takes the Red Bull headband off, there must be a reason. It's hot out there.
I think he's getting ready for the swim transition. I think he's just slowly shedding things he doesn't need for the swim, as they're going to have to go to the swim now to finish off this stage.
They're practically swimming out there already, aren't they? All of them dripping, the rain coming in sideways under the tent. It's extremely hot, losing a lot of moisture from inside as well, as Nieschlag is now only 2 seconds or 1.5 seconds behind Alex Yi. He's going to need to have a better swim. And Alex Yi actually, he was in an incredible swim heat yesterday. He had Max Stapley there, he had Aurelien Raphael there, but he actually outswam. He stuck with Raphael and he outswam Stapley, who actually is our co-record holder for 200 metres, at least in the pool. So he had a fantastic swim, Yi, and he needs to do that again if he's going to go some way to sealing this world title ahead of stage 3 as Hayden Weil heads down the chute. There is Yi, there is Nieschlag in the purple. There is your world championship battle.
And if Hayden Weil does have a chink in his arm, it probably is his swim.
Yeah.
So these two could potentially take a little bit of time out of Hayden Weil on this final part of this stage.
Well, let's see Aurelian Raphael swim as angry as he possibly can.
He needs
to try and take back some of that time. As they head down the long, winding road of black carpet.
And Yi's dropped Nieschlag in this transition. He knows it's a desperate run down to the swim. He wants to eat into Hayden Wild's lead, even though Hayden's not chasing those championship. But any gap he can get on Justus Nieschlag going into the water is a big advantage.
Well, in racing like this, for Nieschlag to finish ahead of Alex, he has to actually round
Swim past him,
which is a massive advantage for Alex to go in first to potentially finish the stage ahead of Justus Nieschlag.
He didn't get us probably 3 or 4 seconds back in the end. Nieschlag, who'll try to swim up onto Yi's feet, but then, as you say, he's going to swim around him, which is Yi being in the box seat at the moment. Now, as it stands for the title, Yi has 14 seconds, let's not forget, over Nieschlag from stage 1.
Stage 1, yeah.
So Nieschlag will start at least 14 seconds behind Alex Yi in the pursuit start for stage 3, which will literally be in a few minutes' time. But Nieschlag, if he can't get around Yi, he at least has to sit in, make sure that he doesn't lose any more time, and try and conserve some energy by sitting in the draft and control himself, because we're going to get back in the water in a minute.
Exactly, and that's his strength. That's Nieschlag's strength over Yi, is his swimming.
And he has just popped up onto his feet there, but he's still got to get all the way around him and in front of him to make any indent really
They've eaten
into
some time out of Hayden too, look at that.
Yeah, they really have. Dixon's having a good swim too, he's come up on the back.
Dixon's a fantastic swimmer. It's one of his big strengths as an athlete, actually, and he's such a little. He's got that racing spirit. You can see it in his eyes. Yeah, that grit. He absolutely loves it. And to be in a field with these kind of athletes, he's lapping it up.
Feeding off that energy.
Absolutely feeding off it. Yeah.
Nieschlag's just going to sit in.
No, he's pulled. Yeah, he is too. I thought he was going to pull wild there and have a shot at Alex. He's going to go back on the feet.
So here it's interesting for Alex. Is he going to try and go around and start eking out some of Hayden's lead?
He has.
Straight around him. He's not interested in just sitting in for the title. He wants the race win as well.
Well, Nieschlag's also come up towards the hip of Alex Yi, so they're all going to kind of finish in a big fighting bunch together, which is probably not the smartest racing. I always think Nieschlag's the smartest guy in Arena Games terms. He's not going to make any time out of Yi here, but he does want to send a message, I suppose. Get the inside on that slight right-hand turn. Maybe he takes a second.
Yes. Every second counts. A great
good
documentary.
Good documentary. I like
that.
that. Go straight to YouTube. Not yet. Finish this.
But
then
all
go to
three
YouTube
of
and
them
watch it.
are nigh on in a line here. That's not really helping any of them. But we are seeing Nieschlag put on the afterburners just as he comes in to tap that board at the end of the stage.
Is it going to be a second in it? He taps the board. 1.
Yes, there's a second.
Yep, 1 second it is. So it's 13 seconds now Nieschlag has to pay in the pursuit start. And he had to work for that extra second. There's no question about that. Wild 2 seconds back. Dixon comes up to 6 seconds back. McQueen 9, Raphael 10, and he was something like 24 seconds back before, so he took 14 seconds back in that swim alone.
He can swim. Aurelien Raphael can swim. And with the opening swim, he can still swim himself into a podium finish here.
He won't be happy with a podium finish, but he'll be happier than he would be at the end of stage 1 after what happened to him. And there is Aurelien Raphael. McQueen chucking the ice down the top.
Lightning.
That's right. Lightning and ice down the front. And kind of because it looks grey out there, it doesn't look like a hot day.
It is hot. It is so humid. That's humidity rain. It's tropical monsoon rain. It's very, very warm.
It actually reminds me in some ways of Hamilton Island in the very first race, and what was it? Was it a Mickey Mouse blow-up pool we had there?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, Disney pool.
A Disney pool with about 8 blokes in it. It was a very interesting setup, and it was this kind of wet weather at times, but super hot, super humid up there near the Great Barrier Reef in Australia, where we started 5 years ago, and now we find ourselves on the back of a brand new concept that has become a world championship in the partnership with World Triathlon, and with a view to potentially this format
making its Olympic debut, maybe in LA in 2028, maybe in Brisbane in 2032. We will see how it all shakes out. But it has been some impressive racing from that man, who will hold a nice little barrier or buffer over Alex Shee and then Justice Nieschlag heading into stage 3, starting with the swim.
Oh, wow. Justus, you delivered for the fans there. That was a swim and a half. You certainly made up for the first swim, which was a bit below par for you.
I just tried to give everything in the swim to close the gap, and on the final buoy I tried to get in front and make some seconds on Alex. So I don't know the ranking now, but hopefully the gap is not too much.
It really is building up to be an incredible final leg.
Yeah, let's see. It's just suffering.
It's a lot of suffering, but the weather conditions today are a lot better for you. Who are you going to have on your heels running into the final few meters of this World Championship?
Yeah, I think that's the guys who are in front. So Alex for sure, and Hayden he's way in the front.
I'm going to let you go and get cool and get ready. Good luck.
Let's look back at how it all shook out, and it was Hayden Wilde who dominated in the early exchanges. Alex Yee had one of those runs he tends to do. It was Raphael who led the first 100 or 200 metres, but in the end he got swallowed up by the class of that man, who has, of course, an Olympic gold and silver medal from Tokyo to his name, and Nieschlag, who has focused on this race more than anybody. Hasn't had the calibre of results outside of Arena Games racing when you compare it to an Alex Yee, but he's found his home in Arena Games in terms of being in contention. He takes that 1 second out, and now he has 13-second gap between himself and that world title, which he very much wants. And there is the results from that one. 12:20 in the end. Nieschlag, Yee and Wilde all within a couple of seconds. Dixon lost some time, McQueen too, Raphael Van Riel 25 seconds back. He's having a tough day at the office, as is Max Stapley, Kenji Nina and Trent Thorpe rounding out the 10.
2 down, 1 to go. Sounds easy. From here, where the lungs aren't about to burst, time lost in stage 1 and 2 is now paid for, with the leader off first and the field looking to chase them down in a final swim bike run for all the glory. First across the line wins the event.
We start again, ice down the back of Martin Van Riel, who, as we said, has had a difficult one today as people attempt to adapt to the heat. Hayden Wilde keeps saying he loves the heat, and as opposed to everyone else who is kind of just walking around in a daze, Hayden looks up and about.
He always does. He brings so much energy. It's like the Jess Learmonth. It must be the green suits. He brings so much energy and fun to the racing. I know all his peers love him. And him and Alex Shee are just the future of this style of racing. You know, bring on Paris Olympics. I expect that both those athletes to do amazing things.
Absolutely. Let's go down to Annie with Alex Shee.
Oh, wow, Alex, this is set to be an incredible final round. What can you do to take the title?
I'm just going to focus on what I can do my best swim, do my best bike and my best run, and we'll see what happens. Like, I'm enjoying myself, so let's just keep going.
And a sprint finish in that last swim. We don't see that very often in triathlon in open water. You're swimming out of your skin in this series.
That's the reason why I came here. I wanted to prove that I can, well, I wanted to prove to myself, most of all, that I can do it. So I'm really proud of myself that I'm doing that, and that's, hopefully I can keep doing it.
Great stuff. Good luck for the final.
Well, it doesn't matter who you are. Usually, no matter what field you're in, you're your own biggest critic, and he's proving to himself that he can swim. He doesn't want to be known as the runner who came to triathlon.
He's not the runner. He's Olympic gold, Olympic silver medalist.
Right.
He's more than just a runner. Alex Shee is a phenom. His swim's been remarkable. It's just the standards he holds to himself. That's what makes him the great athlete that he is.
Well, here are the gaps, and Hayden Wilde will have 3 seconds ahead of Alex Yee. Justice Nieschlag is 16 seconds in arrears. Daniel Dixon, 28. Chase McQueen, 33. Kenji Nina, how good is my maths? 44 seconds, I think. Martin Van Riel, 47. Raphael, 52. Stapley, 53. And Trent Thorpe is 1 minute and 19 seconds back. So realistically, it is a fight between Yi and Wild in the early exchanges of this one, with Nieschlag needing a big swim to put himself in contention. But in championship standings, as it stands right now, if everyone finished in the same order as what they are going to go out in this pursuit start, Alex Yi would be your world champion. Another former runner turned triathlete from GB, exactly like Beth Potter, who has done the same thing and won the world championship just a few minutes ago. And then it would be Chase McQueen who would take the third spot on the podium. In fact, if he finished where he is right now. But we're going to see plenty of chopping and changing, no doubt.
There's the board right there with the splits. Look, the advantage looking at this start is with Hayden Wild leading this out and Alex Yi at 3 seconds back. In a perfect world for Justus Nieschlag, there's some congestion around those first two swim boys that slow them up enough that he can eat into that gap. Nieschlag needs an enormous swim.
We're going to head down now to Annie Emerson as we continue the build-up. Vicky's there. She's fast.
Oh, Vicki, talk to me about Raphael. What happened? He had the most incredible 200 metres. He put seconds into a big group. Then he made a mistake and it was like his head went.
It really did seem like that. He had 6 seconds out of the water, a massive gap for such a short distance. Got up here, still a good gap, put his goggles in the right box, but went round the wrong lane and had to go back and do it again. He's just not been in touch with the game ever since. Started the second run well, but even faded throughout that, and I just think it's really affected him.
Very tight for the final, for the overall World Championship Series. Who's your top pick, Vicki?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's tight for the final. It's tight for the individual race. I'd love to see Alex do both. Yeah, I'm going to say Alex.
We both love Alex, but there's a big fight yet to happen.
Yes, there certainly is. And Hayden Wild has different motivations to Alex Yi, and Justus Nieschlag will be sitting there hoping that they fight each other in this swim.
Yeah, Nieschlag needs, as I said, a big swim. Alex Yi's going to look for Hayden Wild's feet before he gets this first swim buoy. Huge swim. Aurelian Raphael needs that opening stage swim right now.
Yeah, it does. I don't think it's going to help him, though, given the size of the gaps. 3 seconds, 2, and off we go. Hayden Wild, the Falcon flies off the end of the pier and into Marina Bay Reservoir. 3 seconds back is Yi. He'll be looking to get onto those feet. And Nieschlag is watching the World Championship title disappear into the distance around that first buoy you can see out there. And he's going to wait 2 more seconds. He's off. Nieschlag needs to do what he can to catch up now and have a huge swim. There is your, I guess, your main contenders for this one, with Dixon a further 12 seconds back, and McQueen's going to be fighting with the Brit youngster, and Nina Van Riel, Raphael. Well, I don't know. He'll need an outboard motor if he's going to figure in this one, from Stapley and Thorpe, who is not going to figure at all. But it's these two, and already Yi's up on Wild.
This is what Nieschlag wants. He wants some congestion. He wants Alex Yi to slow up Hayden Wild by sitting off that hip. Congestion around this buoy to slow them up again. And Nieschlag just to pull seconds back, use the full 200 metres to pull back this gap.
Yeah, they're right on top of each other there. They're going to take a left turn in just a second. So Yi is going to get the inside turn on the buoy, which he does. He's had to go underneath the corner of it. And they remain on the hip. Does Wild now, who'll end up on the feet.
If Hayden sits there, he's going to slow Alex Yi up. That's the worst place for Hayden to sit if you're trying to stay away from Justus Nieschlag, who is coming very quick. When you sit on the hip, you drag that lead swimmer back. It's very difficult. He's best to drop back down behind those feet and allow the pace to be set by Alex Yi, but he's not doing that.
But this is Hayden Wild. He doesn't want to do that, ever.
Never. He doesn't give up an inch, Hayden Wild. That's what makes him the racer that he is. He's fantastic. I'm going to pick Nieschlag to come. He's coming.
Well, are we going to see a foot race over a kilometre like we did between Bragmaier and Potter?
He just needs to see that whitewater wash of Hayden Wild. You look for it through the goggles. You see the disrupted water from the kick ahead. You know you're pulling up on that gap, pulling that front group back.
It's about probably, around a 30% energy saving to sit in the bubbles behind someone's feet. If you can sit right there, really makes a big difference. And look at that gap, has just disappeared now with about 60 metres to go from the last buoy. Nieschlag is going to get up on Wild here, and if he can have a really strong transition, no one is more motivated to win this at this moment than Justus Nieschlag.
He swam like a man who wants to win this title. He's got to have a huge transition. He's worked so hard in this swim to pull back 13 seconds on Alex Yi. He's pulled back about 8 seconds. He needs to run the rest out of him now.
Yeah, this has to be a massive transition from Justus Nieschlag now. This is where it counts. These next 2 minutes of the race, if he gets in touch, that'll have a big emotional, mental impact on Alex to see Justus come back into the race at him.
So there they go. Yellow is Alex Yi. dual Olympic medalist. Hayden Wilde in the green, also an Olympic medalist from Tokyo. Justus Nieschlag, definitely not with the resume of the others, but is at home in Arena Games racing and has targeted this series ever since he won the first time out in Rotterdam in 2020. He has been a phenom in this form of racing. He can just put himself in the hurt locker and stay there above threshold for longer as he watches other people fall. But this time, well, he's never seen Hayden Wilde in this racing before, and Alex Yee has gotten better and better after some admittedly average efforts, especially in the first time out in Munich.
Great transition by Alex Yee. Look at Hayden. Boom, he wants that power up quickly.
He is here.
He's committed.
Go for this title, isn't he? The individual title, we should say, on the day. But in the last bike on stage 2, Justus Nieschlag took 5 seconds out of Alex Yee. He needs every one of those 5 seconds now. That puts it in a real head-to-head as they start the run.
2.2 seconds, but let's not forget that Yee took probably 7 to 10 seconds out of Justus Nieschlag in the runs.
Okay.
Yeah, so Justus Nieschlag hasn't quite been on his sparkling run form today. He's been really good elsewhere, but his run hasn't been quite as we've seen it before. So he needs to really amp that up a level today because Alex has been on form on that treadmill.
Alex is losing time to Hayden Wilde, but he's losing it slower than Justus Nieschlag. So that gap is widening between Yee and Nieschlag as it stands right now. 11 seconds adrift, but that just shows you how good Hayden Wilde has gone. He has disappeared into the distance at 370 watts.
Yee's hurting. He's definitely committed. You see, Justus Nieschlag gets that focused Arena Games face he gets on, that he just focuses on that screen in front, locks in and pushes out some big power. Alex will be a terrible poker player. He's showing his hand. He's definitely in the hurt box.
Well, the only one of those three comfortable enough to look around and see the pain faces is Hayden Wilde, who seems to be able to just stick his head up and go, oh, what's going on over there? I'll just get back to doing 600 watts.
Everyone else is hurting more than me. Okay, fine, I'll carry on.
5 seconds now between Yee and Nieschlag as Yee heads up the cobblestones and he doesn't get out of the saddle. Like usually you see people really pushing. You can see Nieschlag's out of the saddle and he's doing 420 watts to Yee's 320. And he's taken a second back, now a second and a half back. So he is taking time out of Alex Yee. Is it going to be enough? He needs to get on that treadmill first. He needs to have that front position on the treadmill and hold off Alex Yee.
Yeah, you would think at the way the racing has gone so far today with their relative strengths and who's done what well, Justus Nieschlag has to get on that treadmill first. But we say that, and he's been so good at Arena Games and getting better through the rounds that maybe he's just pacing it better than anyone else.
He outran Alex a couple of times in the rapid charges, in the races leading up to this. We saw what Bragmaier did to Beth Potter. It's a big difference, stage 3 to stage 1. Fatigue sets in. It's been a long weekend of racing. The heat's starting to settle.
Well, not if you're Hayden Wilde. If you're Hayden Wilde, you're absolutely loving life at the moment. At 8 seconds ahead, and I just can't see anyone bringing him back in. He just seems to be getting faster and faster as the day goes on.
He's gone. It's over. It's over. For the win of the day.
For the win of the day, but not the championship series, not the world title.
Yee Nieschlag.
When they went in for the swim on this stage, it really was 2 races. You know, we had the head-to-head of Alex and Hayden, who were already ahead there for the day title, the day race win. But then we had the Justus Nieschlag versus Alex Yee for the world title. But now it looks a little bit like Hayden's got this one sewn up for the individual win of the day, whereas that world title is still on the line as that gap stays steady at about 5 seconds.
Yeah, it does stay steady, and we haven't seen Justus Nieschlag do what he needs to do because Alex Yee has the run to take it away, maybe 5 to 6 seconds. But as you say, they've been through a lot in the last 40 minutes or so. So whether that actually translates is another question. Obviously, Alex Yee's got a higher heart rate, but he just naturally has a higher heart rate anyway. He's very slight, and he does have a generally high heart rate. We saw Kenji Nina tip 200 heart rate yesterday. He said he was capable of getting into the 2 teens, which is just...
He just seemed comfortable. Well, I say comfortable. He didn't seem comfortable to me. I was looking at him thinking that guy is working hard, but he said he was working pretty under control for that 200 heart rate.
Yeah, if you ever see me in the 2 teens, do not call the ambulance. Just call the funeral director. Like we've gone past.
Do not resuscitate.
Yeah, I've gone way past that. It's still 5 seconds between Yee and Nieschlag. There are your 2 championship contenders. There is nothing between them. They were 6 seconds 3 kilometres ago, now 5 seconds. And Alex Yee knows that if he can get to the end of this in the lead, he's in the box seat to run it home. As much bigger gear being pushed by Nieschlag, I think he must be going, or maybe he's going up the cobblestones at this exact moment. We're seeing Wild down the bottom, who is just on a victory lap at this point, having put 10 seconds over Alex Yee in 3 kilometres.
Hayden is absolutely on fire today, isn't he? And I think as a Kiwi athlete, he's raced a bit already this year with their summer season having kind of already happened, but he hasn't had any international competition. It's just so far for him to get to the Arena Games in Munich and in London. So this is his first time putting his marker down to all his international competitors, and ahead of next weekend in Yokohama, he is looking good.
Yes, he is. He's just been on a training camp, 2-week training camp with Braden Curry, who is, is obviously racing another small race in a few hours' time on the other side of the world, and one of the favourites to have a good result there, especially with the. I guess that they're dropping like flies over there in Utah.
There's not much of a field left in Utah, I tell you that.
Well, there's not a lot of energy left out here either as they try and hold on, and we're going to get to the end, and it's going to be Hayden Wild, the Falcon, who flies his way into what will likely be, barring any mishap in transition, a really emphatic victory from the Kiwi, and it's Alex Yee who's going to hop off next. Good transition off, and Justus Nieschlag has to have the absolute run of his life. He's in the box seat. There is the German.
Though, so this is where we can make up some time on
he
Alex.
needs to commit now.
Oh, but Alex has
good transition.
He's been smooth there.
Yeah, he came here to prove something to himself.
Good transition from Nieschlag.
Now, we don't see the numbers go down there because they've got to run 80 metres before they hit the first lap of Crit City, and then we see the numbers drop, and that's exactly what's happening now. Wild is in front, and then it goes Yee, Nieschlag. We'll get into the world of Zwift in just a second, and we'll find out exactly what those gaps are. 15 seconds now back to Yee. What is the gap to Nieschlag?
Nieschlag at 6-7 seconds.
Justus Nieschlag, he's not running fast enough. Yee's over 20 kilometres an hour. Nieschlag is not, and he's losing time. He's seeing the world title slip away. On come the treadmill. Just a little bit of a stumble there from Van Riel, who is really redlining today.
Sort of slid his way onto that treadmill there. He's not had the best of days. There's been a grimace on Martin Van Riel's face for most of the day, to be honest. He's really not seemed quite his usual self. I mean, last year we saw some fantastic performances from Martin, with that 4th at the Olympic Games, with 2nd overall in the World Series. He's been incredible. I mean, even at the grand final of our Super League event in Malibu, him and Alex Yee had that incredible sprint finish, had to be decided on a photo. So he had some incredible results last year, but down in 8th place today, he's just not quite got that fire in him at the moment.
He's got a new coach, he's made some changes, and whether or not that's just going to take time to pay off, we will see across the course of 2022 plenty of massive races coming up over the next few months with World Triathlon. But at the moment, with 370 metres to go, Hayden Wild is having a victory lap, and Alex Yee has doubled his advantage on Justus Nieschlag. So as it stands, Alex Yee will take home to the UK another world title. As we said, former runner in Beth Potter transitions to triathlon and takes home an incredible Arena Games victory and world title. And Alex Yee, former runner, heads to triathlon, takes home an esports world title. History repeats.
Would you call Alex Yee a former runner? He's too young.
No, he's too well,
he's too young.
He was running when he was 10.
Yeah, he's an Olympic gold, Olympic silver medalist in triathlon.
Yeah,
he certainly is. He certainly is. But Beth Potter is a European champion in triathlon too, so they already have the Palmares in triathlon. And with 120 metres to go, Hayden Wild is going to run it home at about 19 kilometres an hour. There he is. And congratulations to the Falcon, who has really put it down. He said he was coming here for a hard session. He's got a fist pump, and we're going to see some stationary Falcon wings. There we go. The man from New Zealand is your winner here in Singapore on debut in Arena Games Triathlon. Hayden Wild was flawless. 10 seconds behind. Alex Yee has finished as your world champion, and he has put it down.
Oof, that one hurt. That hurt a lot.
He had to go deep to hold off Justus Nieschlag there, didn't he? Went hard at the start of that run to just try and get that gap up. But you can see what it's taken out of him there.
Well, 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 Hayden Wild, the race winner. Alex Yee, your World Championship winner, takes the first ever triathlon esports world title. And there are a couple of supreme athletes who we are going to see in some ding-dong battles for the next decade.
I mean, they're similar age. They've come through the ranks together. They've both got Olympic medals now. It's like they're only 24 years of age, and they've just achieved so much already, and they show no signs of slowing down. If anything, they haven't even hit their peak yet.
Yeah, they're on the upward trajectory, and they've already, as you said, collected Olympic medals, winning Arena Games, winning Championship Series. They are at the form of their life. They've got a lot of...
Well done to Alex Yee, who wins the world title. And we're going to head now to Annie Emerson, who is with our race winner.
Oh, wow. Just thank you. Thank you for entertaining us. That was pure brilliance.
I love racing on the edge of my seat as well, so I love just to give it back to the crowd. Even though it was absolutely bucketing down, they still came out, and it was just fantastic. And massive kudos to Alex as well. You know, he's the world champion. Couldn't ask for a better world champion, to be honest, and Nieschlag was fighting the whole season as well. So I was just happy to be there, and I was kind of happy that I didn't kind of stuff up the order in a way. So, yeah.
Just tell us, what do you think of all this? This is the first time you've raced an Arena Games event, and here in Singapore, it's magical.
Yeah, it's a lot different to the you know, London and Munich. I was watching from home on record because it was like 1 o'clock at night. So yeah, it was great to study the boys and see how they go. But yeah, here it's fantastic. You know, we were in Sentosa last 2018, so to come here and race in Arena Games outdoors was something different, eh?
Thank you. Congratulations, Hayden Wild. You are the winner here today in Singapore.
Let's have a look back at what happened, and it all started off with Hayden Wild, the Falcon, flying into the water. Alex Yee, who swam up onto his feet. It was a long, long wait for Justus Nieschlag, and it ended up being just a bridge too far. A little bit of a fight between them, which Nieschlag would have liked, but it didn't last long enough for him to make a big impression. He took about 6 seconds out of him in the swim, but, well, Alex Yee, he's always got that run in his back pocket. And he looked around for a second, and he knew that Hayden Wild was going to go away with it. It was absolutely unbelievable effort from the New Zealander.
No, without question. Hayden always a huge performer. Alex was able to get up and win the championship. It's a big win for both of them.
Well, what racing, Hayden Wild just showing us exactly what he is made of as he heads to Yokohama next weekend, and Alex Yee doing exactly the same, just pressing his credentials once again. Doesn't matter what format of racing, he can do the job. Of course, the Olympic gold, Olympic silver, and now he adds the first world title of 2022 into his pocket. Justus Nieschlag, third overall from Dixon and McQueen.
And now, the presentation of the Women's Arena Games Triathlon.
It's time now
Super
for
League
the women's podium. We couldn't hold it before because the air was made of water, as you know, having been out in Vicki Holland. But we're going to do that now, and it's going to be the championship podium, and Beth Potter is going to stand on the top step. And she's probably taken time to take plenty of fluids in, have a few more chocolate cakes, and just make sure that she is fit and firing. And how good Bragmaier takes the silver by virtue of that incredible effort.
Representing
The smile says it all. And that's Marisol, the head of the ITU.
Yeah,
World Triathlon.
Marisol Casada, president of World Triathlon, who is here in Singapore to present a very worthy Georgia Taylor-Brown with her third in the World
She checks out her
Championship
trophy
Series.
there. Gives it a little check out of her trophy
Well,
there.
isn't that what you
Sees
do?
what's on it.
When I get my first trophy, I'm going to do that too, 100%. Janet Bragmaier, 500 points here in double points, so she did it when it counted. After a 9th or an 8th and a 10th in the other two races. And Beth Potter is your world champion.
Beth, who still hasn't finished off the podium in a single Arena Games event ever. So even on a day when she wasn't feeling her absolute best, still good enough for second in the overall win.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the mark of a champion, really, when against the odds or carrying a niggle or carrying a little bit of illness or not feeling well, can still deliver. And we hear your national anthem, Vicki.
Gives me goosebumps. I'm sat here and I've got goosebumps. I have to get that twice. I know, I feel like I should be being quiet or singing, not talking over it, because yeah, it's really special to us when we do get to hear that national anthem, and we've been so lucky to hear it so many times over recent years with so many amazing British athletes just keep bringing it to these races.
There she stands, Beth Potter, with a World Champions trophy, which she might add to in the future. She's obviously been a European champion. She's now a world champion in Arena Games, in esports triathlon, and this could set her up for one of the great years, because to deliver that in front of a field with athletes like Georgia Taylor-Brown, obviously it would have been better if we saw Jess Learmonth in the fight as well. She gets to spray the champagne, and she's standing in the middle, which is the place that you want to be.
It's almost like a staggered spraying there.
Jeanette's got it in the end.
She may have taken a moment, but she came in hard there.
She came in good at the end.
Bragmaier.
Championships. Just tell us quickly, how does that feel to you? Has it sunken in yet?
Yeah, it's felt amazing, so I'm pretty happy. I'm waiting for the season, how it's going, but I'm in good shape, so I'm really happy.
Excellent. Georgia, we lost your friend. That was hugely disappointing, but you're going to bring a silver medal back for her, so that's pretty cool. How does that feel?
Bronze medal.
A bronze medal. A bronze medal. I'll correct myself. A bronze medal.
Yeah, I did it for Jen. Yeah, no, it was so sad to see her go, but no, she's getting recovered in there, and she'll be back again.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Beth Potter, you have made history here in Singapore. You are the first esports Arena Games Triathlon world champion. Just tell us, how does that feel? You are a world champion.
Yeah, it was hard out there today, and yeah, I'm just glad to take the title. So good today.
Congratulations, all three of you. Incredible performances. Thank you.
I think Beth Potter's got some recovering to do still.
Yeah, that was a tired face, wasn't it? That wasn't an ecstatic face. We need to get some more chocolate into her quickly, because I think she's still running a bit low on sugar, perhaps.
And here is the men's championship standings, and in the end it wasn't much, but
close.
It was a few points in it, and Alex Yee takes the title over Justus Nieschlag from Aurélien Raphael, who's just unravelled a little bit, or his race unravelled at least in the first transition out of the water. Chase McQueen got close to standing on the podium, but Aurélien Raphael made up a few places in the back end of that double swim between the end of stage 2 and the start of stage 3, and he gets his spot on the podium, which is good for him because he is really, he's really been a force, I guess, during this. Hayden Wild just takes the 0-0 and 500.
1 point ahead of Max Stapley. Stapley's filthy that he came.
That's it. Nothing from London, nothing from Munich. The 500 from Singapore, and he rockets himself to a top 5 in the World Championship standings. As we're going to head down now and see the men's podium as well. And they're getting ready to go, and Alex Yee already looks like he hasn't done anything today.
I think he might be a bit low on sugar as well. I think we need to get a Coke or something into Alex.
Minister for Culture, Community and Youth, and Second Minister for Law.
All right, and standing there on the left is, as you heard, Minister Edward Tong, Minister for Culture, Community and Youth, and Second Minister for Law. So he's a busy man, but he's made time to come down here and deliver Aurélien Raphael extremely well-deserved third-place trophy. He's been fantastic, and if you think that short course racing is a young man's game, well, Aurélien Raphael's bucking that trend. Justus Nieschlag, he deserves every minute of this. He adds another second, so he's now finished first, second, third, second, which is not bad for 5 Arena Games.
Asian Games, Arena Games Triathlon Super League champion for men, representing Great Britain, Alex Yee.
And Alex Alex Yee does the job. Now, I describe him as a former runner because he's got such incredible running pedigree, and he has been, well, he's a British 10,000 metre champion, but of course he has been around doing triathlon since he was a little kid, so I guess we can't call him a former runner doing triathlon. He's an excellent runner who does triathlon.
I would say he probably did both parallel.
He's a triathlete.
Yeah.
He's a triathlete that Sebastian Coe is trying to pull across to running. That's what he is.
They were trying to steal him away from us. They even lured in Mo Farah to give him a talking to,
Exactly.
but it didn't work.
Please congratulate your Arena Games 2022 Men's Champion.
All right, let's see who wins this one.
All right, well, definitely Bragmaier was the best, and that was pretty even. I do like what Nieslag's doing there. He's been there before.
Nieslag's holding it. He's got more to go.
Always extra points for hitting the expensive television cameras if you can with the sticky champagne, but that is part of getting up close to the action.
Don't want to get it in your eyes though. Absolute killer. So you have to spray it hard but keep your eyes closed.
Is that how it works?
That's the tactic, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys are telling the story. One day. Anyway, Nieslag does an extremely good job to stay as close as possible. As we head down now to Annie Emerson, who's going to interview our winner.
Oh, congratulations, Aurelien. A tough day, but you come away with a bronze medal at the World Championships. Happy?
Yeah, I'm so happy. So it's a difficult day for me. So I'm very happy to my my place, and I will come back next year.
Thank you so much. Justus, you fought so hard, honestly. How does it feel? You've got a silver medal.
Yeah, I'm quite satisfied with silver. Gold would be amazing, but I was suffering hard and gave everything I had in the tank, and yeah, that's what it is.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Alex Yee, you've got a gold Olympic medal, but what does it feel like to be a world champion? You have made history here today in Singapore in Marina Bay Sands.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. I think for me, I came here to just race the best, as many races as I could in leading into a busy year, and this is pioneering something different, and I guess I got rewarded for showing up, so yeah, I'm really pleased. Shout out to these guys, they got far better results throughout the year, but I guess, yeah, I was quite lucky in the end.
And you wanted to show the world that you can hold your own on the swim, and you certainly did that here.
Yeah, no, that was it. It's been a massive project. I've been working meticulously throughout the winter, so I'm really pleased that it paid off.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we saw that from the heats onwards, that we've got some incredible swimming pedigree in Arena Games, and guys like Max Stapley and Aurelien and Raphael, Chase McQueen have been quality swimmers and are known to be, and Alex Yee more than held his own amongst that. So as he said, it's been a winter project, and unlike the rest of us who have winter projects that don't go anywhere, his has gone somewhere.
It's been a successful winter project. I think we saw that in the opening round of the Arena Games. We saw him swim in the pool. He was magnificent here over the weekend. He swam up onto Hayden Wild. He starts to be magnificent. I think he's got a big season ahead of him, a huge season.
He started working with a coach, Adam Elliott, in Loughborough around the end of 2020, beginning of 2021, and since that point he's really gone from strength to strength. Yeah. Before that point we'd seen glimpses of what Alex Yee could be, but from that point onwards he's really morphed into this top contender pretty much every time he takes to the start line, and they're really clever and meticulous about going about what their plan is. So the bike power plan, the swim plan, and he's known what his target is, he knows what he needs to do, and if this is anything to go by what he's done here, he's got a great season ahead of him.
We always rave about his run. We talked about it all during this race, but his biking as well during this series was remarkable, and when we moved to non-drafting he was even stronger. So he's really balanced now as an athlete. As we said, he's an Olympic gold and silver medalist, he's our championship series winner, he's the Arena Games world champion. What a season.
And we should also, and there is Beth Potter, our 2 world championships together. Now, Beth has dug extremely deep over the course of the last couple of days to make sure that she could do this. She scraped through in the heats. Well, not scraped through, but she measured her way through in the heats. And then she really measured her efforts in this one too to make sure she could sew it up.
She was very concerned about the heat this week. We saw that. We saw her put on the cooling device in this final. But she was managed to hang in there. She really, really struggled in that stage 3, as we see here. Her bikes were magnificent, her runs were magnificent, her swim was magnificent.
All right, there we go. We've run out of time here in Singapore, but on behalf of Vicki Holland, Chris McCormack, Annie Emerson, and of course myself and all the team here who put together the Arena Games and our 2 World Championships as well, thank you so much for joining us on this little journey as we continue to put the Arena Games on the map. We look forward to seeing you at the Championship Series later in the year.